Alright, let's see if we can get this thing working today. Alright, let me know volume check. Any of you guys who are there? Hello. I see Quester WI. Quester, I saw your message on Discord. I have not had a chance to check my Patreon messages in the last couple of days. I will get to that tomorrow, though. Yeah, thanks for remembering to record. I have that on my notes on my desk really big because our video quality is pretty terrible on those Monday releases. Thank you, Rick. It's gonna sound this is about as best it's gonna sound because my voice is terrible right now. I have got myself a nice cold, which is kind of expected with the two little ones. They just bring me home every fun germ that their friends have at school. Tested for COVID. I was worried I was getting, because I just got like the super scratchy throat. Thought I had Omicron, but it's not that. So just a good old-fashioned cold. I remember the days when we didn't have to worry about every little sniffle being some horrific murdering disease. Those were good times. The wind is a bit high. Yeah, I can't control that in the game. I got good news, everybody. We're going to have a fix for the long save soon. Not for everybody, but at least for F4SE players. Nukem, who's one of the leads on the Script Extender team, is going to make us a DLL to temporarily fix it for you guys on PC who are using F4SE. And then he's also identified the code problem. Well, he hasn't identified the code problem. He's identified the type of code that I usually write that causes the problem. And so now I have to go through and find all the bad code and rewrite it. So that's going to be a long project, but worth it. Ooh, that hot tea. Woo. Running that tongue. Shut your mouth about that. No, it's coming. It's coming. I figured F4SE players are probably anybody who's not using F4SE is not in the hardcore category of players, so they'll unfortunately have to wait a little bit longer. But I know you guys who play this game a lot and who are just dying from the long save issue. You guys need that fix ASAP. So hopefully I'll have it in a couple of days. It sounded like it was going to be pretty easy, but he's going to combine it with not only just a fix for it, but also a logging system so that we can try and figure out what the hell specific code that I wrote is causing it, so that you guys can start sending me log files that make sense, and then I can reverse engineer what the hell's going on. That's the hope. We don't know for certain, but he showed me, he was able to replicate it and showed me some log files what was going on, and yeah, it's a code issue. It's a Papyrus issue. It's code that I wrote in 2.0 but we don't know which, because there's so much code, so much code. I mean, I would not be shocked if we pass 1 million lines of code by the end of SS2's development cycle. It's so much code. Yeah, no more 10-minute autosaves. Interestingly, in working with Nukem, I learned about the engine. Those of you guys, there's a trick to getting around the long save. If you just save all the time, it gets around it. So what's happening for techies out there? There's the garbage collector for Papyrus, which is the scripting language, is just garbage in Fallout 4, I guess. And if every time you save, the garbage collector does a full cleanup of all the script data, and so if you save frequently, it'll be smaller batches of data it has to clean up. So I guess that's a workaround right now for long saves, is you could just spam that quick save every 10 minutes, and that would probably resolve the issue for you. But yeah, that's not a fun way to play the game. Constantly thinking about your save. I guess you could turn on there's probably a mod that adds an autosave. I mean, we've got it in Workshop Plus, but I don't know if I have it set up to work it anywhere. I think it's only in Workshop mode you can save with that. But you could probably find a mod that lets you set an autosave every X minutes. There goes Carnal going off to church. Did we figure out a sitting animation for Carnal? Let's see. Yeah, it's true. Dex, that's a good point. It might be that quick saves don't do the full garbage collection stage. It might require a that might be part of why they're quick. It might be that you actually have to hit pause and save the game for it to do the full cleanup, which would be a bummer. But either way, it's there's a fix on the horizon for F4SE players, and then we have a light at the end of the tunnel for everybody else. Let's see, not crazy. Question about plot power. After the power pole spawns on a new plot, is it safe to move it to a new location on the plot? Or yes. One of the things we tried to do with SS2 was give you guys way more freedom. So there's you can pretty much do whatever you want with the foundation and the power pole on those. Somebody had a really cool idea. I think it was in the stream, one of the streams the other night, a week or two ago, about, or maybe it was on the forums. I haven't done this much community engagement since probably the release of SS1. With Chapter 2, I missed it. It's been so long after SS2's release and even in Conqueror, I kind of just went tunnel vision on development and didn't spend a lot of time on the forums, or like my community engagement was mostly limited to talking to people on the team or talking to people who were beta testers and whatnot, and now I'm getting involved in all these other streams, and it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to connect again. So I'm losing track of where I'm hearing these ideas, but somebody had the idea of allowing people to disguise the ASAM sensor as like a mailbox or a trash can or something like that. I think that's a really cool idea. And then that would give even more customization on top of the things like the moving the power pole and whatnot. We'll go over the format for the live stream with everybody in a few minutes. If you see in the title, it says Sagittaurus is going to join us. He's going to join us during the QA, so after I play for a while, because we learned last weekend with Sir Rick on that I am not good at playing and engaging with someone else's conversation. I mean, I can barely play this game, period. So we're going to do one thing at a time. So if you guys want to think about questions in advance before the Q&A, he's going to join us around 10:30. And then we'll just chat with you guys. And so Sagittaurus is pretty much the person who decides how all the quests are going to play out. He'll get a lot of input from the writers, but anytime they don't care, he just makes the decision, and sometimes he comes up with cool ideas we never thought of. And so he's kind of replaced me in that regard of figuring out how the hell all these quests are going to work. That's something that for SS1 quests, Chapter 1 quests, and Conqueror, I did all that, and it was just way too much on me. And thank God Sagittaurus joined the team and has kind of taken up the torch in that department. So he's got a lot of info for you, and should be interesting to hear from somebody else besides me about all this stuff. But we'll get into those a little later. Like I said, 10:30. So from about 9 till 10:30, I'm just gonna play quests. I see there's tons of conquered characters we can go talk to. There's we're up to quest 13, the main quest. I'm actually gonna pause the game here because let's see, is Edmund already up there doing? Maybe he already did his sermon and we missed it. I was hoping to catch the sermon on stream, but it looks like I missed it. I might be able to roll back. I can just roll back the save. That's fine, since it's right about to happen. You can see everybody coming to church here. Or it could be Edmund is off somewhere else. I don't know. But perfect timing, because once you get to quest 14, then people start disappearing. Let's see here. Jim Simon. Be sure to tag King Gath. Okay, you already. Yep, that goes for everybody. Be sure to, if you want my attention, do an at King Gath. Though, if you want my attention before 10:30, before I go to Q&A mode, where I'm, engaging with Sag and you guys, the best way to do it is going to be super chat, and that's not me asking for money. It's just because it'll catch my eye because they pop up real big on my screen. But if you're wondering what we do with donations, I don't spend a dime of that except to try and enhance the mod some way. So it'll be paying for things the team needs, paying for stuff that we need to allow for community stuff. So like paying for all our server space and everything. All the money gets reinvested, or like in most recently, those huge bounties I put out on the bug fixes that drew the attention of some F4C developers. Those are the things I do with that kind of money. So if you're looking to contribute to SS, Super Chat is a way to do that and get your question ahead of the line, because I will just happen to see it while I'm playing. Let's see. El Charulo S. Have you ever done any work with the creator of Kasdan mod? Like Heather Kasdan? That's Llama's, right? I've spoken to Llama many times. I used to hang out a lot in the Nexus Discord, and Llama used to hang out there as well. Although I think Llama bailed on it. I might be wrong on that. It's because I kind of bailed on it because it's pretty toxic. It can be a pretty toxic place. Nexus in general can be. So, kind of have left that server. I'm in the server, but I stopped engaging a long time ago. Let's see here. Not crazy. Oh, please let us get a boxing ring at HQ to let Jake and Aiden can work out their beef with each other. Oh, that's a great idea. So, cool thing with the latest hotfix is we fixed... Actually, I'm going to reload the save so that we can try and get the thing, but I got to go way back down here because I have so many saves. Since we fixed the HQ bug, I've you can see all these crazy amounts of saves I have. I've been recording footage for all the voice actors lately, so I have to keep making crazy different saves so I can get all the different outcomes through different quests and collect all the different footage of that. So now that we fixed the HQ reset bug, I can start working on the HQ tutorials for the add-on makers toolkit. So that means people can create whatever they want. So if somebody wants to figure out how to make a boxing ring, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. We've got all those Mixamo animations, and a lot of them have fighting going on. And Sebo, who does a lot of our animation work, was just asking me today about whether we would want blue men for them, and that didn't seem like a good use of his time unless we can automate the generation of them. But you know, maybe that becomes a better idea with there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what his workload's right. I got to meet with him in the next couple of weeks. So let's see here. What time is it? 4:27. Okay, I can just leave it out of the menu, and by the time 9 o'clock gets around, we should be good. Dex, that you end up unlocking that after you complete the quest. Is there a doctor in the house? So when you finish recruiting your 15 people for the How to HQ tutorial, then you'll get a quest called Is there a doctor in the house? And when you complete that, you unlock the atrium to build. And the reason for that is that 2 sections of the atrium are used during the Is there a doctor in the house quest, so we didn't want you to have to tear what you built down. But after you do the quest, you can tear down what you built there if you don't want it. Although then it'll lock you out of the whole medical system, which would be kind of a bummer. All right, it's 9 o'clock, so welcome guys to my live stream. We'll get it kicked off officially now. If you're new to my live stream, a couple of things. One is I am a rambler. Sometimes that can drive people nuts, so know that warning in advance. But I do a cut down, slimmed version of this live stream. It gets released on Mondays. It'll be a few weeks behind, but that is available. We're up to episode 3 on that, and those are 1 episode per day of streaming. So this is day 6 today, so that'll be in 3 weeks. That'll go up on a Monday. There'll be a video of that where it's trimmed down, a lot less of me talking, a lot more just the elements from the gameplay unless I'm like in the middle of a thought, we don't cut me mid-sentence, but otherwise it's more focused on the gameplay. So if you're just looking for kind of a playthrough with a little bit of developer insight, that is for you. If you want the full King Gath experience, you're at the right place right now. And I will post these live streams on my channel, so if you don't have time to sit through it all tonight, we'll go for 3.5 hours, depending on how my voice is holding up tonight, and if you guys are keeping the questions coming. With the chat, so I have a terrible problem with paying attention to more than one thing at once. So what I found that works best when I live stream is I basically ignore chat unless I'm in like a downtime period where I'm waiting for an NPC to finish talking, or we're in a long load screen for some reason, and then I'll kind of glance over at chat. But if you want to get my attention, make sure you @ King Gath with your questions so that I see it. It'll highlight real bright on my screen. But there's a good chance I'm not going to see it till we go to Q&A mode. So usually about an hour and a half into the stream, I switch to Q&A, and that's where I basically just park my character in a settlement, and then I'm just going to talk with you guys, and we'll hang out until we all get bored, which usually goes for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. I think the longest we've ever done on a stream way back when we did like a 3-hour just hang out and chat, and I'm happy to do whatever you guys want. And if you want to cut the line or get your chat answered, which I see somebody on deck for this, the super chat, I do catch those while I'm playing because they're so bright on my screen, and it's kind of like a say thank you for helping out the mod. I take all those funds, I put it in a big pot that we use for development costs that come up. So we pay for servers to have our website and web tools, lots of web tools now. We pay for equipment for the team occasionally, and now I've started doing bug fix bounties for some things that are outside of my expertise to fix. So your funds help with that. So on that note, Victoria Calendar, good evening, King Gath. I hope you and your team are making great progress on the mod. Best of luck with squashing any remaining bugs. Hope this helps. Y'all have a fabulous week. Thank you for that donation. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you want to get a question right in front of my face, that is a way. Or if you just want to say some nice words to the team, that's a great way as well. A lot of the team does watch this, so even if you don't have a question for me, but you're curious about something in the mod how it got made, feel free to ask in the chat. You might be surprised who is watching, who can help you out. But at 10:30, Sagittaurus, who is I listed him as our quest maker. I don't know how else to describe what he does, because it's a little bit of design, ends up being a little bit of writing and voice recording occasionally, some gameplay decisions, working really, really closely with all aspects of the team. Does a lot of important stuff. in getting our quests up and running, and so Quest Maker was the best I could come up with. Also, I was only 2 characters short on the max title size anyway, so I don't think I could have come up with anything cooler. Though if you have an idea, Sag, I'm happy to update the title. Sag will be joining me around 10:30 when it's like 10:15. I'll look and see if I'm close to finishing a quest, and then I'll bring him on to my Discord. I'll stream his audio over too. We'll both be here chatting. I'll ask him some questions. You guys can queue up questions for both of us, and we'll just talk for the evening until you guys get bored of us. All right, so let's go play some settlements too. So I noticed last time I almost forgot that we are pretty deep into Concord already as far as the characters I've created, but I haven't been talking to them. So I saw Caleb over here. Let's go talk to him. So a lot of the Concord characters, actually I'll show you guys this. I think we had this pop up in the playthrough a couple weeks ago, but the notice board is how you find those characters if you're so we found this one already, but the notice board is the best way to make sure you don't miss a character, because it'll actually give you a map marker on them. So the idea with these is they're just something loosely relevant to the person's quest. They're not actually important to it. They're just something flavor, and they'll point you to the character. So we can find Mr. K over here. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any other characters.
You must be that Volter everyone's been jamming about.
Oh, let me put on the subtitles. I had them off because when I'm recording voice actor footage, there's a lot of mismatch between our subtitles and what the voice actors say, and it takes us a while to get that fixed.
I'm working on a case at the moment, and I could use a heavy hitter like you. Stop by my house if you get a chance. See you around.
Now here's a question: does Caleb wander to his house, and I gotta go find him, follow him, or does he just chill for a while? Yeah, he just chills for a while. Okay, so we're gonna pass time to 9 p.m. because I want to see if we can catch Edmund's sermon. I think they're pretty entertaining. It was very interesting to see how the writer approached them, because the writer has no religious background, but came up with the idea of going out doing sermons based on the 7 deadly sins, which I liked that idea a lot. And let's see here, what time is it in game? It is 6:26. All right, we'll just pass time. I have no qualms with cheating in my game, as many who have been watching have noticed. Oh, here we go, and everybody starts appearing. So we made it so that the idea with the whole Concord thing is, that ominous storm out there, is Edmund is a pastor who comes into town, he helps out Jake, sets up shop, and then all the people that were following him follow him to Concord and start moving in. So all these characters know each other. And if you actually hang around in here, you'll occasionally see that they'll have like random quips between each other. Like all of them have a series of conversations with each other, like between each other, some with Edmund himself. And I did see on somebody else's Let's Play that one of these characters is Robo Voice. We're going to get that fixed soon. All right, what's our time frame here? So 8:38. All right, so let me go check messages while we're sitting here waiting. Oh, I'm not recording. Thank you for saying that, Mon Hunter. We talked about it earlier, and I was going to wait till 9 o'clock to hit record. So let's do that now. Sorry, Luke, forgot to hit record, but I'm recording now. Now let's see if the stream quality suddenly tanks. How's it look so far on FPS? Let me do a little bit of looking around, because my computer's obviously going to chug if it's streaming and putting stuff to hard drive. But okay, so we'll have to have a little bit of footage at the beginning that's a little lower quality, but hopefully Luke can just edit mostly in the stuff after this. Let's see here. Peppy Clown, I missed your podcast. I hope you started again. Thank you for the donation. This is kind of replacing the podcast for now. Somebody on our team actually said this when it was me rambling, reminded them of the podcast, and I was like, that's a great idea. I could start bringing on guests and turn the Q&A section into kind of a mini version of the podcast, and that's kind of what it is right now. So for now, we've got so many people on the team, and some of them would happily be recurring guests. So I don't know if it's going to be quite like the podcast, but I just didn't have the bandwidth to keep doing the podcast. I love doing that podcast. It was a lot of fun. And I wish I'd have done it like as a, I wouldn't say full-time venture, but like as taking it more seriously. Like it was something I know I'd always prepare questions and stuff for the people and go research the guests and everything. But I didn't take it super serious, because you guys could probably tell that by I didn't release it anywhere except for YouTube. I just posted it on YouTube and left it there. And most people probably consume their podcasts anywhere else but YouTube. Especially ones without any interesting footage, because ours has none. So, yeah, the podcast is something I miss as well, but just not enough time for it. All right, let's see here. Where we go? And okay, 9:12. Are they broken? Let's see. What is your? Let's see here. What are you doing right now, Edmund? Call quest function. So I have this little utility mod I wrote for myself to figure out what the hell NPCs are doing, because half the time, we just don't know. All right, so we're going to bring up this, and you guys are going to see my 4,000 open Notepad++ files. All right, he's running. Okay, that's one of our packages, so he's doing something he's supposed to. Oh well. All right, we're not going to get to see that. I'll go add that to my list. I saw him doing a sermon on someone else's Let's Play, so I know it works right now. It's just not working for me. That's a bummer. I'll look into that another day. All right, let's find Caleb's house, and we'll see if I can remember where the hell any of these characters live. Wait, was that Caleb just standing? Yep, he's still standing there.
Greetings.
He says, no, you're not going to do my quest tonight. Okay. What do we got here? All right, we'll go do Hubert's people. As long as I don't finish, I think the first part of quest 14, which is what's after Who Can Sam, then they won't disappear yet. For those of you guys who've run into trying to turn in those quests and you can't, that is because of the next quest in the main quest line, which I'll show you guys. All right, let's make it brighter out here so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. Set game hour to, we'll go 9 a.m. because we're gonna do some marching over here, and we'll, oops, forgot a space there. Set game hour to, there we go, and then force weather 2B52A. Oh, I got an extra 5 in there. There we go, bright and sunny, nice to look at. You guys can see it all. And, okay, we can fast travel to Walden Pond. Here we go. One of the things that I've always hated about this quest we're about to go do here is there's always some spawns of insects when you get over here, and all of them are fighting them whenever you arrive. And I've never been able to find a good solution for that, because anytime there's some techno babble here, they're in the creation kit. There's these things called leveled spawns, which are these little spawn markers where the NPC that spawns is pulled from a pool that's appropriate level for the player. And the problem with them is you can't always interact with them in real time, and I don't like editing stuff in vanilla. So we only do real-time edits of things like that, and so it's really challenging to do with leveled spawns. And so all of the bugs over there are leveled spawns, and so they've kind of been stuck. Oh, there he is. I was here earlier doing recording, and he was not there. Oh man, I gotta remember to unequip my camera. I'm never gonna forget the moment with the camera when we met Aiden. That was phenomenal. Peppy Clown, your podcast was such an interesting experience to hear about the mods we all use from the other side. Most of us experienced them. Gopher is GOAT. Yeah, Gopher is GOAT. I love Gopher. I haven't heard from him in a while. But thank you again for the donation. Alright, let's pop over here. I don't hear them fighting. They must have cleared them out quick. Earlier when I was actually recording this quest for one of the voice actors, and they were all going crazy, and then old Paul got stuck under the ground. It was like, uh-oh, this is not going to go well.
Maybe Hubert's onto something. What's the harm in just hearing them?
See? Here they are now, I told ya. All our building problems are solved.
You really are an idiot, Hubert. After I've dealt with this, remind me to explain the meaning of low profile to you. Okay, that's far enough. Throw your weapon on the ground. Let's see those hands in the air.
You know, part of me wants to just pull back and execute Stodge, because I want Hubert to be involved in quests later. Because this is one of our, I'm trying to think if this is I think this is our first major player choice moment. Sir Rick I see him in chat, he can correct me if I'm wrong. I know we really went crazy with player choice in Chapter 2, but in Chapter 1 there wasn't a ton, and this is one of those instances of it. And just pull back and shoot him. Let's see here.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'm the one with a gun telling you to put down your weapon.
Oh, I see why. I see why I have an
hard to
echo. I'm sorry, guys. I
understand?
can fix that. You guys gotta give me a minute. All right, how are we gonna do this? I should be able to save mid-conversation, right? So we're gonna go save. LP Gath is an idiot. And oh, that worked. Crash out. And then we switch my sound source to this. I bought this really awesome soundbar for my computer. It's called a Sound Blaster Katana. It sounds amazing, but it is not good for streaming. Okay, so question is, did that negatively impact the volume of the game by me switching that? You guys are going to tell me in a minute here. So let me check on my hard drive size. So I had bought a new hard drive specifically for streaming, so that I could record these videos. Then I failed to use it, but it turned out that however I have it installed, I don't know if it's like depending on which SATA slot you use, because I bought the same SSDs I always buy, and it's just too slow. I had to push it back to the other one. So now I'm recording this to a drive that's got a lot of other stuff on it. Sam, are you messing with me? Just need a quick confirmation. Can you guys hear the game all right? Can you hear that Brahmin stomping around? Because now that I switched the audio over, I'm worried I screwed something up. He is right, messing with me. Okay.
Wait a second. Are you threatening me?
Ah, great. Another Hubert. Ah, yes. I am threatening you. Do as I say, or I will be forced to hurt you.
Ho, let's calm down. Let's talk this out.
There's nothing to talk about. Hubert may have asked to join you, but he doesn't speak for all of us. And I don't for a second believe what he or this old man say about these ASM sensors.
Sam.
Stodge is so funny. He's got he's all geared out to the nines in Raider armor, and he's got that garbage pipe pistol.
But I don't trust your reasons for being here. So please, just hand over your weapon.
So yeah, I'm a high charisma character, but yeah, I think everybody, high charisma is the way most people go, and most people negotiate and talk Stodge down. So I think we need to.
You don't want to lay into me.
Whoa, okay. Look, I'm sorry. I'm lowering my gun. All right?
That's good, Stodge. See? No need to point guns at everyone. No one's here to hurt us. So why not listen about the Asums now, eh? If we join this nice fella, he'd help us build this place into a real home.
Youngest, right. Seen these sensors in action myself. Just the thing for a fledgling settlement.
Okay, fine. If it shuts the two of you up, I'll listen.
I actually am not sure what. It might be that at this point he's set essential, and if I just start shooting him, it's just going to break the quest. But let's see here. Screw this, get lost.
You know what? Forget it. You're not worth the trouble.
Well, it's about time you gave up on all this ASAM crap. All right, guys. This place ain't secure no more. We're gonna have to leave. Let's head out.
Oh, this isn't the murder route.
But no, I'm staying. And I think Hubert and Gibbs are too.
Teresa, what are you doing? We can't split up. We're a family.
Sorry, Stodge. We don't want to run no more.
Fine. If you want to take a chance on all this ASAM crap, then it's your funeral. And you, if these idiots are gonna join you, you'd better take good care of them. Or you'll be seeing me again real soon.
Alright, so then I think these four leave, and these ones all stay. Let's see how the AI handles this. It's been ages since I played through this quest in this particular path.
But maybe it's for the best. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. Let's build us a new home.
Whoa, wait, Hubert. Let's not be hasty. Stodge may have been an overly paranoid ass, but it wasn't without good reason.
What? What are you talking about, Risa? I thought you'd be on board with the Asum stuff.
That's not the issue. It's just...
Yeah, there's a couple of different endings to this. You can recruit Stodge in his group, which is the one I think that's what most people end up with. You can get him to leave, or you can murder him in his group.
You have that book about you.
Sorry, who are you?
I'm Teresa. I'm the closest thing this group has to a voice of reason.
Do we have some kind of problem?
Look.
I'm only bummed about the outcome I just chose is because we don't get Doc Shock at our settlement, and I love that Sir Rick took the time to find Protectron dialogue to make them a full-featured settler. Like, I believe they even can barter, which is pretty awesome.
Right now, we'd be indentured workers. Or worse. So I hope you can see why some of us might be...
I mean, I can hear myself getting nasally.
Peddler, especially when what you're offering sounds too good.
I was totally fine this morning, and then... Oh, excuse me. I tried to do a brief little bit of exercise, and about 10 minutes in, my face started hurting. I was like, what the hell's going on? I think that's a sinus infection.
What? You don't believe me?
Well, I still think the Asums are our best bet.
So the murder route, basically, the Teresa, Hubert, and Gibbs all turn on Stodge and whatnot.
ASAM things.
I don't know how much backstory you can get by talking to them all, but they're basically their backstory for all these characters is they're a kind of a disparate band of people who all were all kind of running from something, and they had formed a settlement together, and it's kind of implied that the Gunners were the ones who pushed them out of their home, but we didn't say that explicitly, and I think that was part of it was because this was a quest that was inherited from before we got the Gunners involved, and I think Sarik just liked it being vague, but the characters weren't in full alliance with one another. There was kind of two little factions with one group following Stodge and the other following Teresa, but Teresa kind of letting Stodge take charge most of the time was kind of the backstory behind it. And I don't know how much of that you could get from talking to them all, but again, knowing Sarik, there's probably quite a bit of dialogue you can get if you go talk to everybody over and over again and hit all the charisma options.
I'm not sure I trust you know what you're doing.
Stop me if I'm wrong, but I thought the sensors are meant to be easy to use. At least that's what the old codger said.
Sure did, and it's true.
Well, then I'm sure we'll be able to figure things out.
Fair enough.
Okay, good. Maybe this'll work out after all. Okay, you bums, listen up. I think I know how we should do this. We need to decide on a leader. Someone who can direct us as we build. And whose job it'll be to run this place once we're established. We all got skills that would be useful in a position like that. So I'm open to anyone.
I think this was the second hardest quest to set up after Hub of the Problem. Like getting all these guys to do this, like actually do a step forward and stuff, and then having it not fall apart was
Hubert.
Took a lot of doing. The paths weren't even that bad. It was mostly just getting all these characters to do what I wanted them to.
Why are you volunteering your wrinkled keister?
I've already benefited from the sensors. If I can, I'd like to return some of the kindness shown to me and help you people out. Besides, with your friends gone, you seem a few folks short. Least I can do is help you out a while.
Well, thanks. I won't turn away help.
Yeah, Carver, I agree. It's fun. I think there's a bug with his leader trait right now because I tested it this morning, and I ended up with
Why don't you decide
3 Children of Adam guards at first, which was perfect. And then the next time I came back, I had 6, and I was like, oh god, does it double every time? And then fortunately, the next time I came back, I still only had 6. So I think it just doubled. I think it duplicates at one time, so you get way more guards than you're supposed to.
What would it mean to be in charge?
Well,
so this quest was designed to introduce the idea of city plans and leaders, even though they're both available to you guys before that. For people who aren't familiar with SS1 or you know, didn't take a lot of time to dig into the mod and try and find things. Like if you don't take a bunch of time to experiment with the city planner's desk. In fact, I don't think before this we even suggested building a city planner's desk. It's just kind of available to you. This was a quest to introduce it right in front of the player's face after we were sure they were comfortable enough with plots to have city plans, because the way the city plans work best with your default options if you understand what's going on with the plot so that you can swap them out and change the city plan to match what you're hoping for.
Why do I have to be involved in this?
Well, you're kind of already involved. I mean, we are joining you, eh? And it's thanks to you and your awesomes we're able to do this. Plus, I think you make a good choice in picking the best person to lead us.
Alright, I'll do it.
Well, that's all kinds of fantastic. I can't wait to see who you pick.
All right, and then you can find out a little bit of background info on each person.
How's it going, Fancy Pants? Made up your mind?
I bet a lot of people haven't seen this because I think most people keep Stodge around.
It would be nice to know more about you.
I don't really enjoy talking about my past. But I suppose I could share a little. Well, I used to be a Minuteman. You know, before that all went to hell. Before that, I was part of a merc group. Although we didn't really charge for our services. We just helped those who needed it.
Yeah, Sledge. Hubert's based on the Mackenzies. And yes, they often the exaggerated version of that accent sounds like that's the Minnesota or Canadian like ridiculous over the top fake accent.
Okay. Say your piece.
You mean, what would I bring to the table if I were running things? Well, a little structure and guidance wouldn't go amiss. I'm no stranger to leading people. I'd imagine leading a settlement wouldn't be much different. Besides that, I guess I'd shore up defenses and encourage as many people to settle as I could. I don't care where people are from. Everyone deserves some place to call home.
I'll have to think about it a bit more before I decide.
Fair enough.
Man, it's so funny. We spend all this time making sure that the volume is super balanced in our characters, like that they sound similar volume to each other and in their same lines. And so many of the player lines, they're just all over the place. Like Bethesda did not put in that same care with the player voice. So sometimes it's like the player characters yelling at whoever they're talking
What can I
to.
do you for?
Hello.
Hey,
Made your pick, have you?
tell me about yourself.
I'm old Paul. What else is there to know? I suppose I could tell you how old I am, but honestly, I can't remember. I used to live up
What did anybody notice is Cola running around with him? I remember I had to go back and patch this quest to make sure that she was supported when we added
hear
that
the broken
feature in.
mask incident? It was one of my guns that took down that haywire synth. But after that, I didn't feel much like staying in town. So I took up the life of a scaver. And it suited me just fine. But old age has a way of creeping up on you, slowing you down. So I suppose you could say I'm retired now.
Okay, say your piece.
You mean, what would I do if I was in charge?
I haven't heard this dialogue
Guns for everyone.
in so long.
Nothing says settlement safety like everyone carrying a loaded firearm. And I guess I could share some of my expertise from my days as a scaver. Show everyone the right way to strip down salvage and how to properly maintain things. Youngsters don't know how to
Oh,
carry
the other
stuff
day
these
when
days.
it probably was like 3 weeks ago now, but one of my streams I tried to set up the leader and there wasn't anybody available, and I was like, oh, this system must be broken. But it was just that I didn't have any companions yet, because I tested this morning, and all these, after I did this quest, all these guys were available as leaders, so it's definitely working, which is good. But I did add for some people, because I know some people find the leader card thing empty, and I think it has to do with add-on packs injecting them, and so I'm adding in the holotape for the next patch a reset option to reset the cache, so that you have a tool to fix it if you run into that.
I'll think about it and get back to
We
you.
got to talk to Hubert.
Alrighty, take your time.
Hey, yeah, hey, man.
Hi,
How's it going, eh? Got someone in mind for the job?
tell me about yourself.
Oh boy, where to start? Well, I was born, then I was a baby for a while. Then a whole bunch of stuff happened. And naturally, I ended up joining the Children of Adam.
Naturally.
Nice
His
guys,
backstory
but
is wonderful.
A bit too serious. So I left them and went walkabout, and then I met Stodge. Saved me from a real big mole rat. Then eventually me, Stodge, and some others formed a settlement. Then we lost it. Then we came here. Think that's about everything.
Okay, say your piece.
Oh, like, what would I do if I was in charge? Whew, that's a head scratcher for sure. Well, suppose I could ask my old church friends to help out. You know,
Oh, Quester, that's a
if we're in
good
trouble or
point.
something.
Yeah, we probably can. Let me bust
And
it
I
out.
guess just
We went through and did a
make the people
total
happy.
overhaul of everybody's
Smile would
stats
go a
for
long
the
way,
2.0
you know?
patch. Like every
Just
single
don't ask me to keep no
SS2
town records or
NPC
nothing.
got
ain't
their
much for
stats touched.
bookkeeping
Well, all
and
the
stuff.
unique ones. I don't think
Too
we
many
touched the
numbers, you
random
know?
like extra NPCs and everything. I'll decide
I
later,
still
because now we're
haven't
we're gonna
decided.
zap them. That's a good
Okay,
point.
then.
Very good point, Quester. Let's bust that thing out. Am I carrying it? Otherwise, I could take a picture of them. Actually, let's do that. Let's collect some outfits, because I gotta go check if Dylan is fixed or not. Let's get. Hey, Hubert.
Ah, crumbs.
Crumbs. Fantastic. What about you, old Paul? He didn't shout. What about you, Teresa? Let's get your picture. Oh, no. Only Hubert shouted. Interesting. All right, let's do Vitametic. Let's see what happens here.
How could old Paul help you?
I'm gonna zap you. Ow! There he goes. Yeah, you can do it. So we've got. I think so. The way we determined the skills was kind of like the effort involved in acquiring the character, combined with their importance in the story and their background, kind of all bled together to create different stat pools. So it was like depending on. If they were more important to the story, they got a little bit higher stat pool. If they were super easy to get, they got a little lesser. So old Paul probably has a smaller pool than, say, Hubert, though I could be wrong on that. Not necessarily because old Paul needs to have lower stats, but because we wanted the stats where people are really paying attention to them, or people are min-maxing, and so for them we want to make sure that it plays out well gameplay-wise. Oh no, he's got... Nope, it just showed me old Paul again. Oh, because I was still locked onto him. Nope, missed. What do you think, Hubert? What do you got? Oh yeah, see, he's got quite a bit more skills. Look at that endurance. He's ready to farm. The 7 charisma. That's got to be an inside joke. I love it. Let's see. What about you, Teresa? And then Teresa's got crazy good stats because, spoiler alert, she's one of our HQ leaders. So all of our main cast has huge stats because we want them to be super useful in HQ. So they got monster stat pools. They're basically like player characters.
Didn't even feel it.
Didn't even feel it. All right, so now we got to choose Hubert, of course.
Hey there.
How's it going, eh? Got someone in mind for the job?
I do.
I've made my choice.
Well, don't keep me waiting. Who'd you pick?
James, why does the Vitamatic weigh 8 pounds? Well, we went for immersion first, knowing that somebody could just release a patch to make it 0.8. So, like,
How about you?
Really?
that's kind of our default.
You're picking
We're
me.
gonna make things
Oh boy.
by default
Well,
as
this is
simple and
gonna be
immersive as
fun,
we
eh?
can, and then things that we can offer an option to do in the mod, like we'll try and do it the holotape options or whatever, and things we can't really pull off, somebody can patch it if they like it. Where should we send them? So this is I get asked about this list a lot of like why certain settlements are showing up here, and I just chose a list somewhat arbitrarily. It's mostly settlements that it's been so long since I picked this list, I can't remember the reason for all of these, but there was every settlement was chosen for very specific reasons. And it doesn't matter if you own them or not. The idea is you could send them off to a place you don't control yet, and then they could set up shop there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set them off in a settlement I haven't used yet, and we'll set them up with a nice simple city plan. I'm going to do a simple one because I think that's all I have installed, and I don't want to add instability to the game. I know sometimes when you start pumping in a lot of city plans, the game gets a little shaky. Let's see here. So I think we'll go Sunshine because I don't have to walk forever. Here we go. Get the little pop-ups about the city leaders. And we did the same thing with the city leader traits. In the same way we talked about the Vitamatic stats, we tried to use some of the character background and personality to determine what the benefits are, but we also did that with some of these leader traits. We actually have a table set up, and that Cynical on our team went through and did, and analyzed all our characters while doing the stats, took notes on them for a potential patch where we go in and add custom leader traits to all the SS2 settlers. It hasn't happened yet, but it's on the docket for that, like, stretch goals of cool content we could patch in one day, because we've got so many settlers. Shadows are sending, yeah, it'll send them to the new settlement. So right now it's sending them to Sunshine, even though I didn't control it, and it gave me control of the settlement. But those are the only ones in the list that you can choose. And then if you want to move them, I think you have to do it after the quest completes, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna go ahead and run ahead of them because I don't have all day, and then we will just do a pastime so they catch up to us because they are gonna march along slowly. Oh, you know what? Let's go engage with the behemoth here while we got some backup walking by. We're going to take him out with the Vitamatic. No, I don't think so. Actually, I just want to see what his stats are. Maybe we can ping him to death with a camera. Come on, behemoth. There we go. What are behemoth stats? Oh, wow. He's weak. Mama Murphy's tougher than you, buddy. But he lives at Hester's Consumer Robotics, apparently. Alright, let's get us out. Proper gun here. We're going to use a garbage gun because I am not going to do much fighting here. Oh! Head smashed immediately. Punished. No idea when I last saved. Worth it for the visual. Make a good thumbnail. Me getting smashed by a behemoth. Oh, if you guys are new to this stream, I am terrible at combat. Just awful. It's not why I'm here. Alright, where are we at here? Okay, well, we're at this point. I can at least...
How's it going, eh? Got someone in mind for the job?
Good, it auto-saved somewhere.
I've
Nice.
made my choice.
Well, don't keep me waiting. Who'd you pick?
Oh, Hubert,
about
of
you?
course. You.
Really? You're picking me? Oh boy. Well, this is gonna be fun, eh?
Let's see here. Where did we decide Sunshine? There we go. Hubert's not a leader. There we go. Alright. Well, I guess we scrapped my plan for Behemoth. I thought for sure if I let them engage first, he'd go after them, but nope. He beelined it straight for me and smashed my little head in. No, Dogbeat, get over here. Don't. Don't poke the bear. Oh, wait, isn't there a gunner camp right over here? I think so. I think those are gunners. Let's not pick a fight with anybody right now. Actually, I should be, I think I'm like stealth sniper building. I just don't do that at all on this character because I haven't built any weapons. Let's see. Yeah, still weak. Still weak. And also I have no ammunition. I really need to go shopping. The worst stealth sniper in Fallout history. Oh, yeah, you're right. I did. Let me do that now. Let's see. Remove. Whoops. Did I do that right? The way it was written, it was like I was going to remove you from the channel. Are you still there, Yagi? Did you get kicked off? That was written really poorly, YouTube. I may have just banned Yagi from chat by accident. Alright, there we go. We're out of the danger range, and now we can just go kill some ghouls while we wait for them. Or, I guess, Radroach? I thought there were ghouls in these places. Oh, maybe it's Radroach and some ghouls and others. Really? Yeah, cold outbreak, indeed. Who else we got over here? There's what I was expecting. Don't just bark at him, dog meat. You were supposed to be using that little awesome arm grab thing you got going on. There we go. Light sniper rifle. Maybe that'll be... Oh, survival guide. Extra meat from animal kills. There's something I won't be doing. Let's see here. We have not messed with our gear. Well, I gotta level up too. What should we get? We need survival tools. We need... Oh, here we go. Sneaky, sneaky. No question. Alright, what did we just pick up? We picked up some random piece of armor. It's now not shown in my list. Is that a plus? For my Assassin's Raider chest piece. Sure. Okay. Bye-bye, legendary. Weapons. Light sniper rifle. Well, I don't know that that's better than my hunting rifle, but it's got bullets, so it's a slight upgrade. Oh, I didn't ban Yagi, but his work banned him. And I think this one is locked, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Sweet.
Come on out, ghouls. Nope, just another red rope. Give me your stim packs. Okay, one more building, and then we're ready to greet Hubert and company. Wait, who said that? I distinctly heard some random human next to me say some luck. Where did that come from? Oh, it's the Children of Adam. They beat Hubert here. This is that's a little quirk with I didn't bother to update. So if you guys run into this and you suddenly have Children of Adam running around your settlement that Hubert's in charge of, that is his leader trait. And the leader traits are coded to work regardless of quest state, so I did not put any type of checks. I should for this, but whatever. It would require basically bypassing out of the the coded system to add a quest check-in, and that would just be messy. So instead, we get Children of Adam patrolling the settlement right away before Hubert even arrives. Where is Hubert? We've got Teresa, Child of Adam, Gibbs. Did you guys leave Hubert? He's in charge. Meet Hubert. Alright. Alright, we'll just do a pastime here. Well, alright, so we'll grab, thank you. Also, where is, what's his name? I didn't see, the robot anywhere. The high AF robot. He's gone. Oh, there's Hubert. And old Paul taking up the rear.
Hey everyone, I'm Hubert, and I'll be leading us now. So, I guess we should build ourselves some homes, eh? Alright then, let's get to it.
Alright, yeah, we'll go ahead and tear it all down. Go into city plan mode. Oh, I love cinematic mode. It still makes me so happy that I got this working. This was like a labor of love for just a week of obsession. I just kept hammering at the engine until I figured out how to make this thing work. Because I knew it was going to be one of those flashy features that it's, you know, all it is really it's moving the player around and they become, and you hide the HUD. It's really simple in concept, but it's so unique to Fallout and it feels pretty epic. It feels less epic in SS2 for some city plans because the city plans build so much faster initially. So like you get pulled out of it really fast. But I remember the first time we introduced it in ROTC and I showed it to the testers, they were just like minds blown, which was exactly what I was hoping for. Needed some big flashy feature for Rise of the Commonwealth. Aside from, like, city plans were flashy, but that was like, oh, come on, what is that? What is that? That is no good. All these floaty things, get out of my settlement. Let's see if I can scrap them. I might have to install the toolkit. Nope, I can get rid of them. I hate when we miss stuff like this in the designs. Usually it happens because there'll have been a plot building there, and that so we didn't see the items, and then when you actually build the city plan, the plots aren't there to hold those things. And unfortunately, updating city plans in the mod itself is a nightmare. Updating them if they're on their own, like an individual ESL, super easy. Updating inside of a pack like this is awful. So that is why we rarely ever fix bugs in city plans, unfortunately. Alright, what do you got to say, Hubert?
Hey. Oh, wow. This all looks real promising, eh? I knew the Asoms were the answer we needed. Thank you so much. I promise I'll do my best to lead this place in your name. Maybe now we can have a bit of peace and quiet for a while.
There we go. Alright, now let's see. I bet because we just got all these plots going, we're going to get a long save here. So let's oh, I like to do it from the menu here. Let's go. Save. LP. Day 6. Post MQ13. Nope, not a long save at all. The long saves are so hard to predict. Oh, hey, mutants, let's kill them. And since I just saved, I can get into combat. And there's lots of Children of Adam to help me. What was that? Can't kill me when I got my army behind me. I am so hyped for personal guards to come back to SS2. It's gonna be good times. Alright, where's the other one I killed? Give me your loot. That was the only reason I engaged. Need bullets. Just a board. Of course that guy had that. Where was the third one? Oh well. Okay, let's I think it was Jake's private frequency time. There we go.
Hey, you're never gonna guess what I just got running. The comm hub. You hear that? That's the sound of the Commonwealth suits. Huh? What? Oh, come on. Oh. Well, I was gonna suggest you come and see this thing in action. But seems the comm hub decided exploring would be a better use of its time. You should still head on back. Fill me in on how things went with those folks. By the time you arrive, I should have the hub up and running again. Just need to replace those damn tubes.
Calculating chance of success. Less than 5%.
That's enough out of you.
Sigil Stone. No, I'm not super familiar with Linux. I use it a lot on servers, and then it's all command line. But I haven't used any of the GUIs since probably I was 20. It's been ages since I've messed around with Red Hat or anything. I would guess, though, if there was a mod manager that worked on Linux, the most likely candidate would be Mod Organizer, because that thing is super robust and designed to be... it's designed for power users, so that would be my guess, would be the mod manager you got to go to if you want to use Linux. Alright, let's head back to Concord, because I want to do some of those Concord quests. I'm hoping that Caleb will be where he's going to be here. I don't know why this is... Okay, there we go. Let's head back to Museum of Freedom. I don't think I turned off autosaves, did I? No, and that's fine. I like to experience the long saves. It's a constant reminder that I need to do everything in my power to get it fixed. Is Caleb still standing there? He's just reading the newspaper 24/7.
Hey.
Where is his house? Where is his house? It's probably this one right here, right? Yeah, this has got to be his house. Maybe if I walk in, he'll just like teleport behind me. Get that out of here. I love the world radios, but not so good for... Oh, some gear. Not so good for streaming. Can I... No, can't steal your guns. That's fair. Can't steal your stash, though. Oh, I bet some of that is vanilla. So a lot of these houses that we did in Concord, the way we had to work around all the rubble and everything, because otherwise we would have had to break precombines. And that breaks one of our team rules. We're not allowed to edit anything vanilla unless we can do it at runtime with scripts. So that's why if you see that there's some odd choices in our design work, like for things like the church, where there's just these extra stages in the middle, that is to cover up all the rubble that we couldn't get rid of. So the designers are heavily restricted, so sometimes they have to make odd choices. So don't blame them for if it's something looks extra ratty. Though I think it's appropriate given Fallout. Bobby Pins, yes please. Alright, so I guess he's not going to join me, so I don't know. Maybe we got a problem with this quest. Let's see, who else should be in town? Because all of the characters, the Concord characters are actually, when you play through Chapter 1, their appearance is tied not to each other, but it's tied to your progress in the main quest. So they should all be around. So now I just got to go find everybody. Oh, and of course, did I catch them?
First off,
Oh, hey, one of those random combos.
well, thank you. I know it's not half as good as what you have in your shop, but I do my best to, how do they say, make it work.
And make it work you do. Look, me and Carnal, that isn't going to be an issue with your religion, is it?
Of course not. The two of you are well-meaning members of the flock, mutant or not.
That's not exactly what I meant.
Oh, I see. I'll have to look into a bit. I'll admit, that isn't really something they cover in the old books.
No problem, no problem.
So yeah, there's lots of random little conversations. We tried to add a lot of flavor in Concord. We wanted it to feel like a little living town, which is why you start getting the defenses and everything appearing. I don't know what's going on with Caleb. Sag is in the chat saying I should wait 24 hours. So let's see here. 10:19. It's actually also... Alright, let's pass to the morning because I want to go... Actually, let me think. I want to go set game hour... I want to go have dinner with the Thompsons too. Set game hour to... I think it's probably 6 or 7 p.m. for them. So what is that in military time? 18, we'll say. Yeah, all right, let's go check out the Thompsons. That's this house over here, I believe. The Thompsons are the one people that are in an interior cell, and that actually uses our world repopulation system to do it. So we saved most of the interiors for the dynamic world repop, and then put everybody else in the exterior houses, so that way there wouldn't be a bunch of derelict houses everywhere. All right, let's sit down for dinner. Let's see if this works. What do we think?
Excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Hey there.
Nope, this one's not working either. Yeah, they should have started a conversation. They should have like started talking as soon as I walked in the room. Unless maybe it's not the right time. Is it not? Is dinner time not at 6 around here? Well, let's see here. We'll go past time 1.
It is peculiar having that robot that calls itself Mala around.
Let's see. Do you guys want to do your little combo now?
Excuse me.
No? No, nobody? All right. Well, we got a couple of conquered bugs to work out. So, but that is why
Daddy.
That is part of why I want to do the stream. So we'll go save LP day 6 Elias dinner convo. Not happening.
Can you fix the gate?
Let's go see if Caleb moved into his house now. All right, going back across town, and then I'm trying to think of the other characters we haven't met yet. Are we haven't done Caleb's quest line. There's Alyssa. That's the other one we haven't done. All right, nope. Caleb's still standing there. So Caleb's got something wonky going on. So we'll mark this one too as a save, even though it's 2 seconds later, just so I have them for because if you guys saw, I have like 400 saves on this computer. Caleb really likes the news. We'll call it that. All right, we got some more stuff to add to the bug fix pool. All right, let's go see if Alyssa's home, and then if not, we will move on and go talk to Jake. Oh, you know what? Did I ever get the second Brannigan quest? I don't think I did that either. We could go do that too. Go check in on him. So Alyssa should be up here. All right.
Where do I find one of those?
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, hi. You must be the one who's been fixing all the problems in the Commonwealth. I just wanted to introduce myself, Alyssa Stevens, at your service. The Commonwealth's up-and-coming star reporter. I've just moved into town and I'm looking to set up a newspaper. Say, you're famous for helping people out around here. Could I trouble you to help us?
So this character,
build a printing
I believe, is actually I know for a fact is one of the names that actually maybe I'm wrong on this. So we had a series of characters that were kind of made up characters on our newspaper. So if you've ever played with the Industrial Revolution newspaper, which did get ported forward, it's into SS2. It was from Industrial Revolution, and the writing team that we assembled for that, they created in-game personalities to sign all the newspapers with. So it was kind of like these characters were living somewhere in the Commonwealth, but you never actually meet them. And when we started the project to get all the, well, we had the 2 projects going simultaneously. I'm trying to think of the timeline of this. It was so many years ago. But at some point, the leader of the writing team at the time thought it would be a cool idea to start putting the different newspaper characters as recruitable settlers, where they'd show up to your settlements eventually. And I think this character came from that project, but it got totally warped from its original purpose. We have another one that almost made it through that I think is actually up for casting right now, called Alex Chang. And it's totally different than the original concept of the character. But yeah, that was gonna be a big thing. We're gonna have all these different newspaper reporters that could start showing up at your settlements and offer. They were all gonna work for our new Bugle paper, but it didn't quite pan out. But yeah, if you're a voice actor out there, a voice actress in particular, we're looking for. There's one post for a Chapter 3 character right now up on our forums. Let's see.
Can't you fix anything yourself?
I hate to ask, but I need help locating technical diagrams. Something that you, as a kick-ass explorer, would be perfectly suited for. So you've heard of the Boston Bugle, right? Biggest newspaper in the country before the war. Well, my sources have told me that there's some schematics for a nuclear-powered printing press stored somewhere in the Boston Bugle building downtown. So I need someone with your unique skills to go and get them for me. I can pay you with some money my dad left me. What do you say?
I'm sorry about your dad.
After Mom passed, I had to haul it over the Commonwealth everywhere he went. Talking to all the other travelers is where I got my taste for sharing stories and reporting. And if it wasn't for those fucking green assholes, he would still be here today.
Whoa, aggressive.
I live for danger. Where do I sign up?
Well, anyway, thank you for helping me out. I can
Thank
show
you,
where the
Carver. I
Boston
appreciate it.
Vehicle Building
Keep
is
up the
on your
fantastic
deploy.
work. Yourself too on those city plans. I think I saw you post a Sunshine city plan contest entry. Okay, so that starts the Alyssa quest. Let me see here. Fire up the presses. I don't know if we're going to do that right this second, just because going downtown I will get just decimated. But let's check on Brannigan here. Is he sleeping under his bed? No, he hasn't even moved in. What is going on here? I wonder if my there's some quirks with my the Conquered Master controller that's supposed to control all their quest advancements and stuff. Because Brannigan should have already, like, not fixed it up necessarily, but made it a little nicer than this and put beds for everybody. So another one. So really something totally wrong with the Conquered stuff right now. Hopefully this isn't in all your saves and this is just something that's happening to me. But let's see, Brannigan, home, empty. Okay, we got some Conquered bugs to work on. All right, then I guess we're moving on to the main quest. We'll double back to Conquered in a couple weeks, hopefully after I have a chance to fix all these issues. Off we go. Yeah, the hot fixes have kind of stalled out because the long save issue has taken up most of my attention of late. That's been way more important, I think, to most of you guys than having a few quests broken. Alright, let's see here. Where are you, Jake? Of course, he's working upstairs in some random thing. This is where he likes to hang out most of his time.
Oh, hey. I hope things went more smooth for you than they have for me. You take care of them folks? They all set up with ASAMs now?
Not sure I'd call it smooth, but it's taken care of.
Had a few hiccups, huh? I know that feeling. But glad to hear you got things sorted. After our meeting with the gunners, I was a little spooked. Was thinking twice about this whole ASAM thing. Thanks for talking me around. Now, my turn to share some good news. I managed to get the comm hub running. Come over here, let me show you.
Oh, let's see how this goes. This feels like a moment where the AI is gonna get us. Oh yeah, look at that camera. Come on, you can do it, Jake. Come on down. Down the stairs. Don't walk off the edge of the roof. Oh yeah, you're right. I feel like the game wants it to be 9 o'clock no matter what I do. And no matter where I fast travel, it goes back to 9 o'clock. You're right, everybody's at the church. But either way, his house should have improved by now. I think there's 2 stages to his house improving. And I know enough time has passed because I keep using the pastime command.
Guess I bypassed enough busted components. I was patching in a few more parts when suddenly the darn thing just sprung to life. Guess I bypassed enough busted components.
That's great news.
We're not out of the woods just yet, but we are close. Now that the comm hub's actually running, I know the exact parts we need to get it fully repaired. If I could get this baby firing all
He's just destroying everything.
Perfect for what you'll be needing.
Tell me about it.
Well, as best as I've been able to figure, the comm hub was meant to be installed somewhere so all the ASAMs would have something to connect to. But at some point, Vault-Tec got their hands on it, probably to try and rip off the design. And then that Magnuson fellow stole
And
from
the camera's
Vault-Tec.
going real trippy today.
Although no idea why Magnuson had the hubs shipped to Olivia.
I'm listening.
What are you doing, Jake?
We could finally establish reliable communications.
Oh, there goes the
between
coffin.
every single one of our settlements.
The cough medicine's wearing off.
Think about it. Near instant communication. Every settlement part of a networked interchange. If we had something like
Just
that,
get his steps
surprise
in.
attacks would be a thing of the past. Not even the gunners would be a worry no more. Plus, we'd have efficient division of labor, meaning faster settlement growth.
Jake has a complicated relationship with the comm hub.
Sounds complicated.
No, it is. But don't you worry your pretty little head. The bulk of logistics I'll be dealing with.
I don't know where he's trying to walk.
Quite at the
Like,
settlement
clearly,
interchange
there must be a
stage
marker
just
there,
yet.
but it can't be close
First,
enough that
we're
he
gonna
needs
need
to
some
walk
specialized
just a
components
little
fully
bit to the
repair
right
this
there.
thing.
Very odd.
That's where I'm
Bethesda
gonna need your
AI.
help. That is, if you're willing to do a little legwork.
Sure.
Let's do it.
I'm game.
Now that's the spirit I love to see.
I'm mostly racing through the dialogue
I'm
now because
already
I
on the
can't handle
list.
watching him do this anymore.
These locations are where we should be able to find the components we need. However, this ain't gonna be the kind of stuff you'll be able to grab yourself. The parts will need to be stripped out of the tech they're housed in. But don't worry, I got the solution. Mala! Get over here! I believe you're familiar with our robot friend. Figured it was past time she had a name.
Uh-oh. Where is she now? Is she stuck somewhere? I think she's upstairs. I didn't know she could even get up there. I can hear her walking though. Let's see if she can do it. Come on, Mala. Come on. Nope. Walking stopped. What do we think?
Good to see you again.
Here she comes. She's gonna make it. That's amazing. After we make fun of the Bethesda AI and they're able to get that wonky robot down those stairs.
What you need to do is clear out a potential salvage site, scan it with an ASAM, and leave behind a locator beacon.
I have no idea what that is.
The locator beacon is an old side project of mine. I used to use
Thank you, Quester, for the donation. Check the church for Brand again. Yeah, I think I saw him walking in there right as I got in here. So yeah, I can go give him a poke and see if we can get his second quest going.
That's not to say they're not useful. They're just real heavy.
How'd you come up with that name?
Well, it seemed kind of rude just calling her robot all the time. And considering she has an official function now, I thought a name was in order. Mobile Analytic Load-Bearing Automaton. Or Mala. And since the name sounds kind of feminine, I figured that makes her a girl robot.
Protect and serve.
Sure, I can do that.
Well, ain't you just a ray of sunshine? I've adapted Mala's transceiver unit so she can pick up.
Yeah, look at the creepy lighting
signals
coming out of him right
now.
now.
The robot can get to and from the salvage site without wandering off and getting lost.
Sounds good.
I've started building some locator beacons we can use for the job. Now, I know they look a bit on the heavy side, and they are. But keep in mind, my first prototypes was twice as big, and 3 times as heavy.
Okay, you talked me into it.
All right.
Okay, now we get the sensor scanner, which lets us do a lot of cool
Here's
things.
the first finished beacon. If you're a little way down, you
And
can always
we'll
unload
show that
some
off in a
excess
little bit
gear.
here.
I've updated your Pip-Boy with the locations. Up to you where you pick. You just need to clear out the area, scan it, place down the beacon at the marked coordinates, then head on back for the next beacon. Happy trails, and good luck.
Okay. Let's see here. Now, one of the things I was watching for, and I think I got distracted by his creepy face. Surik, maybe you caught this. Did he mention the Conquered Settlers? Because that is like the one moment we have where you have an opportunity to understand why your people have disappeared after this quest gets going. Of like why all of a sudden other people you're trying to turn into are not available, and it's his little throwaway mention. We patched that in with the 2.0 patch to explain that away, and we have another solution coming that
hey,
howdy.
To help better explain that and make it a little more likely people can figure out what the hell's going on when their quest giver has an objective to an invisible spot to try and explain it. So that that'll help out with those. All right, so Brannigan's still not giving it. I think there's something funky going on with our. We have a system in place to manage all the conquered characters and like when they appear, when they're different, when their buildings upgrade, and when everything happens. And it seems like maybe it's stuck because I have definitely been. It's definitely been a couple of days and nothing's moving forward with those. So I think we got some bugs to fix. That's okay. Let's see here. So let's look at our list of targets. Oh, I think they come up on the map. Yep, they're all over the place. So I want to go test a specific one that Raybo, you had a bug report on, and I posted on it recently. It's a really old bug report. It was like from May of last year. And I want to go, if I can remember which building it is, I want to go do it, although I don't know that I want to go downtown Boston. I think I have no choice, though. I've been avoiding the hard parts of the game to this point. All right, so let's go to Diamond City, and we'll go test over that first one right there. I think that is the place I want to. Okay, Diamond City Market it is. Fat Frost, thank you for the donation. No message, just Fat Frost, $9.99. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Don't move, Synth. What have you done with the real Riley? Where's my brother?
Oh, there goes Meet Caleb at his house. Hey, Caleb got unstuck. Awesome. It must have been 48 hours and not 24.
Put the gun down now.
He's a synth. He'll kill us.
Is there a way to interfere with this scene? Whoop.
Kyle, no!
Okay, show's over. There are no
I love
synths
scenes
in
like
Diamond
this.
City. Hear me? Just
The
you folks.
dynamic things that are just happening when you walk in. no one will mind if I just... Yeah, he doesn't need this anymore. Sorry, Riley. You know what I want to do? Oh, no, I can't do it. I was going to go get a recruitment quest from the Ron, but we have not completed... You got to first do his quests to talk to Anton and the Powell family, and I'm saving those for later. But I was just going to grab one in case we happen to stumble upon some character as we're going around. Oh, there's a nice long save for us. Alright, so now we've got a change of plans. Now that we can meet Caleb at his house, we're going back to do that. Because, this, like I said, as soon as we proceed a little further into the main quest... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, did we lock up? As soon as we proceed a little further into the main quest, then all those characters disappear until we finish the first, like, I don't know, 5th of Chapter 2? Uh-oh, I think we got a game lock up here. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Oh, Boston Library it was. Okay, a bunch of you guys are saying that. Awesome. Has anybody experienced that crash with scanning in the library? My assumption is it has something to do with the highlighting system. That maybe that is hitting something that the game engine doesn't like being highlighted. But I've been trying to... So every day I try and put in a little bit of time on our Team Git, which is where community rock stars, team members, and other people who prove to me that they are good at troubleshooting things get access to post bugs. And there are some from years ago, and I've been trying to do I do most of my time on the new stuff, because then I'll catch the issues of more players' experience, and then I spend a little bit of time researching older bugs to see if I can make any headway on them now that I know more. Because every year I've been into this, and we've been doing this for 5 years now, I figure out more and more stuff. Let's see here.
Now, let's see what we have here. Hopefully something we can use this time. Huh. This is good timing. Not exactly what I had in
love
mind
this
to
voice
show
actor.
you, but
He's
it'll do.
really good.
You might be wondering about the dead body here decorating the floor. This poor slob had information on him about a certain individual that I would very much like to see dead. He resisted my initial questions, but I was able to extract what I needed eventually. His death was an unfortunate side effect of the process, but I doubt he'll be missed. The man I'm after is known as Bombface. He was a one-time Moravsky associate whose paw prints are all over the serious crime around these parts. He killed my wife, and does not hesitate to kill anyone else who crosses him. It's taken me months to get.
If any of you guys is a big Skyrim
Finally,
mod
I
player,
have a lead on
this
the best.
voice actor is Ryan
Question
Cooper.
is,
He has done a
you
ton of
have the
Skyrim
next
mod
piece of the
voices.
puzzle.
It's probably going to be dangerous. I expect things will get ugly.
We're avenging the death of my beautiful wife. It is guaranteed to get ugly.
If it means protecting innocent people from a madman, yes.
Wonderful. Mr. Useful here gave me the name and location of one of Bombface's organizers. Give me a few hours to clean this up, and we'll work out how to track this goon down.
Okay. Alright, so did I get the hunt? I didn't see a quest pop up. Oh, he said give him a few hours. I'm impatient. See, I'm victim to the same thing everybody else is with Fallout 4. We've been trained to follow those objective markers. When we don't get them, it's very disturbing. All right, we're gonna go try our luck with Brannigan again. I wonder if now that Caleb got kind of unstuck, or enough. I guess I was wrong about the timing. Let's see if we had any movement over here at Brannigan's house. Then I can cancel some of those bug research. Yeah, I think there's something happened over here. I don't remember there being a green door, but maybe I'm wrong. Hey, there we go. I think I was just impatient. Cool. They added some stuff here. So if you guys have found Brannigan sleeping under the bed, I think it might be a bug with this particular bed model, because somebody sent me a screenshot of a plot with this bed model on it where it did the same thing. So I don't know what's going on with that. I got that bed from that was a donation from Wasteland Ventures. I don't know what I did wrong with it when I imported it.
Hey there, stranger. Another time then.
No, you still don't got work for me? I could have sworn
Yes. Yeah.
around the time that this gets built, he's got another quest for us. Well, Alright. Then we're going to do another pastime, mostly because I want to see if we can get Caleb's quest. And we'll just do a full 24 hours. Maybe Brannigan's will come up now. Oh, and there goes the Thompsons. Wait till next evening. I must have just been assuming that way more time was passing than it was. Oh, wait. I wonder if... Do I have timescale weird? Let's see here. And there goes Hunt for Boris. Let's see. Get global value timescale. Did I accidentally change that? No, it's still 20. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. This game.
We sell Brahmin and Brahmin accessories.
I would like to buy some Brahmin.
We're doing business with you. Oh, hey there. How are you doing?
Good, but I know you got another quest to give me.
Well, hi, how are you?
Alright, well, let's go over to... I like that Bobby sounds like Hank Hill. That's appropriate. Damn it, Bobby. Let's go to Caleb's house again. I think that's what I was supposed to do. Yep, Dr. Caleb. Caillou Dung, do every building in Concord plan for repopulation. So right now we have, I'm trying to think if there's any, I think all the characters that we have that have voices and quests are in now. So you've seen there's not that many of them, but almost every single building, not all of them, but most of the buildings are rigged up for our dynamic world repopulation system, which is just generic NPCs named Concord Settler. And our plan in an update ahead is the little lantern that appears next to those doors when it does happen, which hopefully I'll build up Sanctuary enough to that happens for this playthrough. We're going to add a little ability for people to click the lantern and disable a door. So if a mod wants to... Well, what are you holding there, dog meat? Just running around with a sword. Give me that. Where did it go? It's just gone. It's just dog meat carrying a sword. Cool. Anyway, we're going to make it so that people can disable those doors on the fly without having to use a menu. Oh, in fact, is this one over here? Did we get one already? Or is this somebody's house? Or did I accidentally... And it's sunk in the floor. What is going on here? We got to enter this and see what's going on. That looks wrong. Oh, we got some. So we got some Concord Settlers. So these guys just moved into this building due to our supply of everything. Oops. Oh, that's probably correct. So I think the issue is we've got to fix the door marker. I bet it's set up in a way that it's sunk into the ground a little bit, and it's making it so that the lantern doesn't appear. But those are what you'll find, and those people are actually capable of wandering around outside of their house. They'll kind of wander around the region, and most of the little homes and buildings in Concord are set up for this system. Oh, I'm glad we got to see that. So let's pop outside here. So I got to put a note on this one and write it down for... I'll just do the saves. Saves seem to be an easy way I can do this quickly. So save LP... Day 6, misplaced world repop door. So what normally will happen if it's aligned correctly, like clearly our marker is misaligned, there'll be a lantern just to the left of the door, and we're going to add interactive options to that in the future so that people can mess with them if they want to disable them or whatever they want to do to them. If we want to add more things in the future, we'll probably put a pop-up like we have for the plot buildings where you can see who made them so that the designers of the cell that got attached to it can get some props. Because I love to put as many people's names in the game world as we can.
Right. Good that you're here. Now let me lay out the 411. Apparently this guy, Boris, is one of Bombface's organizers. Gets the muscle to where it's needed. We, and by we I mean you, need to extract Bombface's location from him. Don't look at me like that. I can't go near these guys as they all know of me, and would no doubt make me from 100 yards away. A relative stranger like yourself has a much better chance of getting within striking distance. So, you still up for this? I won't lie, this will be a tough gig.
Absolutely. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in for getting murdered by some people.
Last known whereabouts. I'll beam him to your
until I make some time to equip appropriate weaponry. As somebody said, I think in chat earlier, I was like, go take gun nut and build yourself a proper gun. That's a good point. All right, let's see here. What are we gonna do next? Hunt for Boris. Let's see where that is. That's not too far out. All right, I need to like pick a lane and stick to it here because I keep jumping all over with what we're gonna do. So I think we're gonna do Hunt for Boris. Come back to Caleb, see what's going on next. Maybe what's his name? Brannigan's next quest will go, and then we'll bring on Sag, who can tell me everything I did wrong, because he implemented a lot of these quests. So a lot of the times they're not actually broken. I'm operating from false assumptions, because some of this stuff I barely played. So the stuff I played the most is the main quest in Chapter 2 development, but Concord, Nightingales, and CPD I have very limited experience on, because most of the time while he was busy working on all that stuff, I was doing the HQ code and project management, so didn't really have a ton of time to touch these quests, which is fun because I actually get to experience this stuff firsthand like you guys did, which is a lot more. I mean, it's really fun to watch the stuff come together as the developers, like to see, you know, we go from the planning and then seeing the voices come in and seeing the quests play out correctly. That's a lot of fun in stages like that, but it's way cooler to experience stuff blind. Oh, we got some guys to kill. Hey, another level up. What do we got? What do we got? I mean, I invested in sneak so that I don't have to spend all my time in combat. So let's, what do you think, buddy? Are you coming at us? Yep. Gotcha. And you brought friends. Good lord, are those terrifying. Come on, buddy. A little closer. Okay, there we go. Alright, where are we headed next? Follow the road, follow the highway south. Okay. I keep going to Diamond City and I never remember to go check the weapon shop to just buy all the ammo. Actually, I'm curious what my cap situation is like. Oh yeah, I got plenty of caps. Alright, let's level up since that is helping us not die all the time. Well, none of the ones I'm hoping for are ready to pop. All right, taking suggestions on stuff. Maybe Sir Rick has a suggestion since he knows where all the good dialogue options are later. He can suggest the perks that will have the most make us have the most fun on stream. Will you do anything, Godzilla? Will you do anything with the dam near Sunshine? No, but I know there is a mod that does. There's a mod that I think it's from Zorkaz. Zorkaz, the man of 1,000 mods. I think there's a mod from Zorkaz that makes it something you can claim and it provides power, if I'm not mistaken. Idiot Savant. Idiot Savant's a fun one. Do I have enough, let's see. Don't I have to have, yeah, I gotta get a lot more luck for that. We're not gonna get Idiot Savant, too bad. Yeah, Idiot Savant is a fun one. Got a lot of people saying Gun Nut. Okay, I'll do Gun Nut. I usually don't mod my weapons, but I probably should because I'm just finding trash tier weapons and I'm not spending a lot of time in combat to collect new loot, so I should probably get Gun Nut. Gun Nut it is. We will go build ourselves a proper weapon. I'll try and do it off camera, so, or maybe I'll do it while Sag and I are chatting. Because, oh my god, so many radios. You know the mod I miss? One of the mods I miss most is oh, let's go rescue this guy, or try to. I think I'm going to be too slow over here. Is the one that let me shoot radios and blow them up. That was a lot of fun.
Still in one piece.
Oh, you survived. Oh, but then I think we get assaulted, right? By like an army of mole rats. You should be able to recruit this guy. Yikes. I think that the lack of recruitable settlers you meet out in the world was a big missed opportunity for Bethesda. Like, you get a couple, but they could have done that all over the place, and like, it could have just become like a reward. You can see they leaned into it a lot in Fallout Shelter, so it's weird that they didn't think to do it in Fallout 4 as well.
Should have just run. Yeah. Stay gone.
Alright, you gonna give me some money or something? Nope, still guys alive.
I had no choice.
Hey. Alright.
Thanks for the help.
Give me something. I just blew, there we go. So I just blew most of my ammunition pool there. I think we're going to have to switch to something else here. What do we got? What do we got? What's our 10mm situation like? I can kill a few guys with this. Maybe one with my aim. Good timing, too. We're on a mission to kill some dude for a quest, and I've got no ammunition. Good timing indeed. Alright. Nope, I don't want to fast travel. Alright, I believe he's up on this highway, if I remember correctly. Actually, which one is this? Hunt for Boris. Robert De Niro, now that HQ is fixed, when do we get to build custom ones? So I gotta write out the toolkit, and then it'll take a long time for anyone to make a custom one. A long time. It is a really complicated process, takes a lot of work. I hope some people take up the challenge. I've talked to a few people who said they're interested in it, and I know XV's in chat said he might try a small one, like a little mini HQ, just for something fun. Because there's no reason it has to be gigantic or support, you know, having a room for all those departments. We just wanted to go big for our implementation of it. And my hope, what I anticipate happening right away with HQ stuff after I release it, is people will release room plans. So other things you can build in those rooms so that you can replace some of that stuff instead of building just what we chose in each of the rooms. Because there's a couple of choices you have in the rooms, but for the most part, each room's got one thing you can build in it. But that's not the plan long term. Oh, hardened sniper rifle. Yes, please. This stuff looks like it might be upgrades. Boris with the hookup. Let's see here. Hardened sniper rifle. That is definitely upgraded from our light. Yep. And armor. What did you hook us up with here? Sturdy right leg. Where's our other right leg? I gotta just remember to drop all this stuff because I'm not gonna sell it, and I just don't want to use up all my inventory for it. Heavy metal left arm. Go away. I'm not worried about the whatever. Okay, good enough. We got some nice upgrades there. Not worried about all of the weight benefits to stealth or anything. Not gonna worry about that kind of stuff. Alright, we got a note from him. Let's check that out. Boris's note. You gotta do some house cleaning. Word on the street is your team is getting out of hand. This needs to be nipped in the bud before he nips us, if you catch my drift, bomb face. Okay. Let us return to Caleb. And actually on our way back, as I keep talking about ammo, let's just stop by Drumlin and we'll buy whatever they got in stock. Alright, so let me buzz in Sag. If you guys have got questions for me or Sag, I'm gonna move into Q&A mode here real quick, where I'm gonna start just paying attention to chat. We're not gonna do much in the game for a while. I'm gonna bring in Sag. He pretty much implemented basically every quest, we'll say, in chapter 2. So all of the Nightingales, the CPD, the Conquered characters, the main quest line extension. I think the only stuff he didn't do was the stuff that involved HQ. I think I took over there because it was technically complicated.
Let's see what you got.
It involved all sorts of coding stuff, but otherwise, pretty much he ran the show there. So that's which was very impressive because he came in knowing nothing. We had to just keep going back and forth and teaching as he went, and he's really picked it up and ran with it. So let me bring up my Discord here. There we go. Buzz him in. We'll see if I got this set up right. Sag, how are you, sir? Can you hear me? I don't hear you yet. So once I hear you, then we can check if everybody else can hear you. I think that was the right ammo I just bought there for hardened sniper rifle.
Check.
Check. There you are. All right, let's ask everybody in chat. Can you guys hear Sag talking there?
Am I good now? I think I was muted.
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Cool.
Yep, they can hear you. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, and thanks for doing all this quest work, because I would not have, there's no way in hell I could have done this and added all the code that we did to chapter 2.
No problem. It was fun, man.
You went from like 0 to 100 there, because you came in, you just wanted to help, and you didn't really... Like, what did you know before you came on board? Like, had you gone through some tutorials? Had you done Skyrim modding? Like, where were you at when you started with us?
Yeah, I played around. I guess I started making a mod in Skyrim for a while, and I gotten to the point to where I could create characters. I knew I could add faces, get their equipment, do all that kind of stuff. But I kind of was at a loss when it came to trying to create AI and quests. I just didn't know how to do it, and there wasn't really any tutorials at the time. And I just kind of hit a wall and put it away and did some other stuff, and then finally, guess whenever I installed Fallout 4 and experienced Sim Settlements and joined the team, I guess you say 0 to 100, I kind of went from about 10 to 100.
Oh, yeah, you had to learn a little bit of everything, though. You had to learn some scripting and how do you do all the CK stuff, and then we're using our methodology because we have kind of our own way we do quests and everything.
Yeah. I come from a background of working in film with a bunch of different studios, a bunch of different teams. So one of the skills I had to pick up really quick is learning a system and working within a system well. So it was sort of my first couple of months was trying to figure out how you guys did everything and trying to fit in as best as I could. And I didn't even know, the scale of what I was going to be able to do. I kind of joined with an intention to just help wherever I could. I have, a 3D background. I have a degree in computer animation, film, writing. I was willing to help wherever I was needed, and where you said was most needed was quest implementation. So it allowed us to do the mass that we did for Chapter 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. It was one of those. You were like a lucky recruit because I didn't even have a post up for help with that stuff, but you just said you were totally open to doing whatever, and like I think you had mentioned helping with quest setup, and then I kind of latched onto that because I'm like, oh my god, that would be life changing if you really got into it, because I remember when we did Chapter 1. So Rick and I did all the quest implementation, and he did all the dialogue implementation, and then I did the stages and the scripting and everything. And we did the whole thing, the whole of Chapter 1. We did all the quest implementation for the main quest, not for the necessarily side stuff, but did the whole main quest in like 2 months. And like you've seen how crazy it was, how much content we did, and how long it took you to do all that. Like it was a lot. So, and then I was doing that while juggling all the coding, so it was just too much. So you coming on and handling the quest stuff by default was huge. I think I want to say that we had less quest bugs with the launch of Chapter 2 than we did with Chapter 1. Chapter 1, I was hot fixing like almost daily for like a week to just get the main quest working correctly. And I think we had a couple of instances like that, but most of the time it was like there was a path through. There was something. So I think you nailed it with your first go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a lot of help towards the end of people testing out a lot of things for me. So without that, I couldn't have tackled everything. That was the biggest. For me, it's sort of like I have to go through and play all of the bits. Like watching you do this and like jumping ahead with the time, I was like, oh, that's probably broken. I was like, I don't know, maybe the set game hour doesn't move you ahead the way past time does. I was trying to figure. I was watching you trying to bug fix in my head of what was happening and why Concord wasn't jumping ahead for you. And I was like, maybe that's what's up.
It
and
could
then finally,
be that,
it did trigger with Caleb and the Thompsons. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, right now you could go sit down and talk to the Thompsons, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that next stream. That was, I was worried about that there, it probably was the set game hour. It probably doesn't advance time. I thought it did, but maybe it only advances time for some timers. I don't know. I don't know how it all works behind the scenes.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm glad it worked. Watching you, that's what I was gonna say is after we released, watching all the different Let's Plays of people was just it was so much help for me to figure out to see what they were encountering so that I could go in and know how to fix. Because otherwise, like I was spending time trying to recreate bugs that were on our list and not having luck doing it. It's like but once we started getting save files and a mass of people started encountering things, it was a lot easier for me to fix a lot of things.
Yeah, I love when we get into release mode and can start watching Let's Plays. I said it last stream, and I'll keep saying it. Is any of you guys out there, if you have a Let's Play you do, even if you have 0 viewers, we are not looking for popular people. We just like to watch people play the mod. So because it helps us find issues and see, you know, how people are enjoying the mod or just are unenjoying certain things. It's a lot of fun for us to watch playthroughs.
Yeah, it's just surreal too to see the stuff that we make, to, you know, to see people go through it and to watch what they do that we didn't even think about, you know.
Yeah, it takes a while for us to kind of iterate through it. But yeah, big shout. You know, you mentioned you couldn't have done it without the testers. Big shout outs to XV, Raybo, Veda Phoenix, and Sasori. The 4 of them just did so many tests. I mean, we were up to what alpha did we make it up to? It was a crazy high number.
I don't even know.
And like every alpha, like I think we made it to like alpha 14, but each one we did letter iterations as well. And then we did a round of beta test. I mean, we were testing chapter 2 for probably like 9 months, iterating over stuff. Like I think we started out with the sickness mechanics were the first thing we gave them, and then started giving them quests, and it was just like it was a crazy Q&A setup that we ended up doing. And hopefully we end up doing the same thing for chapter 3, because I would love to release as bug free as possible, make sure people can actually make it through. And now I'll pay much more attention to outliers. Like we had the HQ reset bug came up one time in the entire testing phase, and I was like, that's got to be an outlier. That's got to be like some weird thing happened to his save. And then nope, that was just that was just deep embedded in there. So yeah, so you ended up doing the 3 characters, the 3 new settlers first. You did what's his name? Alex? No, not Alex. Alan Walsh. Yeah,
Alan Walsh, Lucky Bucky Benton, and Noman Sland.
Right. So those 3, I bet if any of you have met any of those, or if you haven't, those are 3 new recruitable settlers. Those were actually, they were like 98% done for chapter 1 release, but there was just enough not done that we had to scrap them. And then so when Sag came on, he needed some stuff to learn from, so we gave him those. So you guys got 3 bonus settlers in chapter 2 that would have otherwise just kind of died on our hard drives. We hadn't we hadn't cast them or anything, but we had like the scripts mostly written and everything. It was just waiting for somebody to finish off a little bit. I think it was like maybe a little bit missing in each of their quests. I don't remember what it was. They were so close to being done though. It was crazy that they didn't make it in. So I'm glad we got to get those in. And then you moved on from there to the Conquered characters, I think.
Just one. So Brannigan was you'd already had Brannigan's stuff, and you knew that he was going to be a part of the Conquered stuff, but we were still waiting for the rest of Conquered to be written. So Brannigan, I don't know if he was initially supposed to be a recruitable character like the other 3, but after I finished those 3, he was the first set of quests that I worked on for the official chapter 2 stuff.
So then the reason I'm talking about this stuff in order is because I bet the quality, like the tightness of your quests, and like you know, the lack of bugs, it increased, you know, as you went through. They just get better and better because you just start learning tricks.
I had to go back in and do some stuff with Noman Slands right after release, I think it was, and to look at that quest compared to the stuff that I made afterwards or later on in development was so far left field.
Yeah. I often, when I go look back at my old quests, I'm like, I want to redo this, but then it's just like there's so many things on our plate we could do to put that time into, and it's like, yeah, it works pretty decently. Like a lot of the times the stuff I get obsessed with where I want to redo it is just little polishy things where it's just like, oh, I could make the character walk here when he says that or point at that, and it's like that's the amount, like not only it's not a ton of effort to add little bits like that. The problem is then you got to go bug fix the whole thing again. You got to go you got to go back through and test it all and see like, okay, well that could have had issues with this, or okay, I added a new linked ref here. Is that going to break in the next quest he's in? And so it's like risky. It's kind of like, it's like, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just comes to mind real quick.
Yeah, that was a lot of the issues we ran into with the Conquered stuff, is because I put it all together. I think I'd done a lot of the CPD stuff, and then I jumped over to Conquered and put a bunch of that stuff together, and then moved on, finished up CPD. And later on, when we sort of finished up the main quest and finished up the repop system and all that stuff, coming back to Conquered, there were bugs that had popped up because of the new stuff and linking everything together and the way that all worked, that having to fix that they just didn't exist when I was first testing it.
Right.
So that was interesting. It was a really nice little process to kind of go through each little grouping, and they were each a little bit bigger than the one before, but I got to start over from 0 point in building the quest. So I did the 3 recruitable characters, and then I jumped to a little bit bigger of a quest, was the initial CPD stuff, and then the Conquered stuff. So it was nice to be able to build the structure from start again each time.
Right, and you got to work on some easier stuff first. Because can you imagine if I like threw you in the deep end and was like, all right, here's the battle for GNN. Good luck.
Yeah, well, that was it. It was so good because by the time I got to that, I was so confident in being able to at least put together a base structure that people could build on top of. That when it finally was done, we actually didn't even really add that much to what I did.
Yeah, Battle for GNN, like your first draft came out really good. I think the biggest thing we had trouble with, and I think we still do a little bit, is getting the nuclear stuff to play out exactly how we wanted. But I think it looks pretty impressive still, and everybody runs around and it feels like a big epic battle. So I think we succeeded there. I think with some of the battle stuff we have planned for Chapter 3, I think you've already mentioned that you want to start that stuff sooner, because if you had like the full dev cycle to be playing with Battle GNN, it would have been insane. Like, it's already insane, but like if you had the experience you do now, we probably would have been able to put way more flourishes on there, and it would have been even more crazy experience. So I'm excited to see how that shakes out for Chapter 3 without giving away spoilers.
Same. Yeah, it was just a thing that I started on that. I guess it was probably 2 months before we released, or was supposed to release the first time. Before Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, and it was fine. I had plenty of time, but my idea for this, the reason I said I would like to start earlier, is if I would have put together that base structure a lot earlier on, we could have played around with a whole lot more over the time than me just spending that week trying to put that together and then saying, like, that's acceptable. Now I have 7 weeks left. Let's go on to the next thing. So that's kind of why this go around, as we build it up, that we kind of already know the structure of the bits we want, and we can start building those earlier on. Once we have a base, then we can polish it up a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. There was some, and Karvak, you got me dead to rights. I put a cough drop in my mouth. The one thing you did for Battle of GNN, and spoiler alerts, anybody who hasn't played through Chapter 2 yet, you set up a structure, and I don't know how much we engaged with it. I really like the idea of it. And it's one of those things where I would love to go back and tinker with, and before we wrap up Chapter 2. I know you've been looking at the Trello boards I set up for Chapter 3 dev, and the first project is to finish up all the Chapter 2 content. One of the things that didn't make the board yet, but I think maybe it should, is to embrace that idea you had, where, like, depending on how deep you went with a certain faction, you'd see more of those guys show up to help you, because that would feel really rewarding. I saw some people play it once where they had sided with the Minutemen, and like 2 Minutemen guys came up, and it's like, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, you would love to see, because like we know we had, like, with the Battle for GNN, we were up against the engine because we can only send so many guys. If there are ever more than 45 AI-controlled NPCs in an area, it kind of picks and chooses which ones to activate, and the rest will just sit still. And that could include our main characters, so it could break some of our quest stuff. So we have to be really careful about how many people we put in. So we could never have it feel like a full-blown war. The creation engine just isn't designed to handle that. That's why we get the really garbage Civil War in Skyrim, is because the engine's not meant to handle a lot of characters. But I still think your solution for that was to basically be, if you went deep Brotherhood and you like killed off the other factions so that they're not even available, is we would give you some a couple extra paladins, right? Like stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think that would be really rewarding for players if they went all in on one faction, then they'd see a bunch of people. I think it would be, I don't think it would be a ton of work to add, because you put the framework in already. It would just be like finding the right appropriate quest stages, right, to respond to.
Yeah, well, and really it's, it's already actually there. Whenever we check where, when Jake asks you to go get recruits, we check to see what quests you've done. And so at that, it's really kind of at that point, if you've done the Brotherhood, then there's a global I have that keeps track of where each person is allied with you, and if it's at that certain point, then we just trigger it to give you more paladins or more Minutemen or more
Right.
railroad agents or whomever. And also, I've had some of the other testers had asked about other mod authors adding in their people too. That's something that would be cool to see as well, where people could link in their people to run in. But like you said, if you ever play Skyrim with like war zones and like random encounters and all that kind of stuff together, like patrols, you will absolutely experience the issue that I was trying to avoid with the battle, which is just people, groups of people doing the exact same thing, running into, keep it running into one specific tree and not moving. All that kind of stuff happens when you put too many people.
Yeah. It sounds like your dog wants to join us again, as always. Whenever we get on the horn, he's...
Yeah. If y'all hear him in the background, he's hollering.
So yeah, it worked out really well though that quest happened to be the last one you were doing. Like, it wasn't even by design. Initially, it was just like, oh, that happens to be when the stuff kicks in where it's going to require a lot of scripting. So then I took over on the next half of that, but that was like your final quest to design, which worked out well because you got to have all that experience on all those other quest lines. I really like the way the battle came out. I still think the recruitment, I think we have on the docket to do some polishing up just to make it feel more like what players are used to for the end of a Bethesda game, where it's kind of like, okay, the floor's open to you, go do what you want. We're going to tinker with that. But otherwise, I think, and it sounds like the way you already have MQ22 set up is if we do that with the recruitment quests, it will make it so that more people experience what you just described with more of a particular faction show up, that'll be cool. I think that'll make this thing, it'll kind of play out how we want it without having to go back and touch the battle a bunch, because I'd rather avoid that. That's a real complicated quest. It's got a lot of phases to it. Ironically, it's not the most complicated quest in the mod. I think the most complicated quest is 16, the one in the vault. Yeah, that quest is crazy complicated. That's one of those ones where when I read it, when Sir Rick gave me the synopsis for it, I'm like, I guess we could try and do that. Like, there's no disguise system in the game, but yeah, we should be able to do that. And then little did I know.
That's the first quest we broke really bad. I mean, it has so many different paths at different points, sort of in that first little area. You have your first conversation with Wise, and there are 4 different paths you can take with Wise, combat and talk to him, combat and kill him, get the spoilers. I'm sorry if get the disguise, or just speech check through him. There's so many different corrections, and then if you get the disguise and go in, then they don't fight. If you get the disguise and don't put it on and go in, then they do fight. And I hadn't set up the combat path for Wise when I had finished everything, and I asked you to do that, and you went in and fixed Wise's combat path, but you didn't realize that you weren't supposed to fight the entrance gunner. There was still if Wise lets you go, he's like, there's actually a dialogue where he says, "Oh, Wise lets you come through." Like, it's like mercenaries. Wise let you through. So it's decided, but you had set it up to where immediately if you went into combat with Wise, the whole vault got in combat with you, and that sort of broke some stuff that we had already put in. So it was definitely the most complicated quest we did in this chapter. There's every step of the way there are multiple paths that you could choose.
Yeah, I remember that break, because I was just like, I was trying to test that quest quickly, because what we needed to get to the Berman scene, because like we'd been talking since chapter 1 development, like we knew that
the animation.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna need that animation, so we were like, we got to get that scene up and running and hand it off to Nihar as quickly as possible. So I just was like, all right, I gotta combat through this as quickly as possible, and then broke the hell out of the quest for you.
Sir Rick, we were just showing off.
I'm glad we did though. Those are like that. Those big animation moments. Those are like our hero pieces. We don't have a ton of 3D modelers, And so we make
Yeah.
up with it in other ways. We try and do fancy script stuff or big flashy features or some animated moments. That's our those are our big set pieces to blow people's minds. That's kind of the goal, and I think we did with some of those.
Yeah, but I mean, the same thing is that our work on that quest allowed us to discover the bug that we found with the default set stage box that we're going to fix for the next chapter. So, all the bad parts always have a good,
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, we discovered some of Bethesda's scripts that they use all over the game have a inherent flaw into them, and it's why there needs to be the unofficial Fallout 4 patch, I think, because they use that thing everywhere. There's these set of scripts called default, and if you ever watch my Bethesda Mod School tutorials, I tell you to use those, and now I regret it. And I remember saying I remember mentioning that I don't usually like to tell people to use vanilla scripts, but we'll do that to shortcut because I didn't want to teach people scripting at that point in the tutorial series. But those default scripts have a flaw, and if you don't make your quest, if you don't design it explicitly the way those expect it to be done, you can your quest will just break randomly, which is
we have a lot of quests that have these groups of stages in different sets, especially CPD has them where we'll have all of Jared's stuff in a specific group of stages, and then the similar type stuff that Lena does is in the Jared's stuff will be from 20 to 40, Lena's will be from 40 to 60, Simon's will be from 60 to 80. And this particular bug we found is that if a stage is set later on in that quest, then it breaks that box. And we have a number of quests. The Nightingales, we have similar types of things where, especially the last Nightingales quest, where it's all these different clues you can find. So particular stages are set at different points throughout the quest, and they're not set in chronological order, 1 to 100, and it broke a lot of stuff when we got to testing them.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of bugs in the vanilla game because of that same issue. I think it's just it's a flaw. I think it's just the person who wrote that script that default script that managed all those others was trying to systemize this in a way that made sense to him. And I think a lot of times the scripters at Bethesda don't necessarily have the experience with quest design, so they might not think of why would a quest designer ever need to go jump ahead in stages, not thinking that those are kind of free global flags you get. So I think it's just it's and I bet most of the Bethesda designers now have just learned to work around it. As opposed, and we didn't expect it because it was why would that be that way? Why would it matter if the stage was set ahead or not? Especially because
they probably know and don't design quests the way that we do because of it,
Well, yeah, and you can see that a lot of the quests in the game don't have divergent paths, right? They're always linear. That's one of the complaints about Fallout 4 is it tends to be there's minimal choice and you kind of do things one after the other. There's not a lot of doing things in unique orders, and that's that default script system. It enforces doing things in order, which is odd. It was very odd, but anyway, we figured it out and we wrote our own that basically just changes that one little tiny line that checks to see if the quest is further along than that, and lets us do what we want. So it worked out.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions for me or SAG, just make sure you tag me. I'll read them. I see Quester WI. If I join all the factions and do not advance their quests, would it be possible to use the Institute Minutemen, RR, and BOS for the HQ battle, or is that just pipe dream? I think you can. I think if you
can.
Yeah.
Yes,
you can.
It is possible. Even the railroad and the Institute will be there together. It's that whole thing where it's like the Skyrim Civil War, where everybody agrees to work together because of you.
Yeah, I think you can definitely pull that off if you've got them. Because I think I don't remember what all the checks are. You would know better, but I remember we made we have it in our trailer where there's everybody there, but I think I faked that. I don't think that was done in the actual quest.
No, yeah, you faked it, but I did trigger them all. Brother to Still, you have to be I want to say a knight or a paladin. What's the first one? Knight?
I think so. I don't remember. I'm not real good with BOS lore.
Brother Still, I think Brother Still, you got to be a knight. Railroad, you have to join. Minutemen, you have to be the general. an institute, you have to, I think it's to the point where you agree to restart the reactor. I think if you get to all of those points, everyone is advanced far enough, and you haven't, made enemies of one or the other. You still can do all of them, and you can also have the CPD join you as well.
And I think that the Nightingales they send like one person, but I don't think they engage in combat, or they're not supposed to. Yeah,
he does. Yeah, there's a field medic that hangs out for the war room scene, and there's a box that shows up. A
cache. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And he just hangs out in the car dealership. He doesn't go in for the battle. The idea, he's still. Once we fix one of the bugs we have, is he still would technically give you services. So like he could doctor heal you or whatever.
Yeah.
Like technically, but right now it doesn't work. So
we'll be fixing the next patch. I got to figure it out.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know if that's something we could stress test, is like in the middle of the battle, if you're like seriously hurt, run back to the car dealership and see if the Nightingale will help you, heal you.
That would be absurd. That would be one of those things where we should shortcut it and be just like, here, let me patch you up, and no need to go through the barter menu. It's just going to be over there negotiating fees with you. Yeah. Well, that's a huge battle raging on.
Yeah.
Robert's area, the script. So the script is, if you were to edit the vanilla script, it would probably break a whole lot of Bethesda's quests. So like I said, they've built their quests now, assuming that this is the case. But the way so it's not something that you can necessarily fix, but it's all the scripts that say things like default set stage. So default set stage on container change, default set stage on trigger, stuff like that. So we just created our own series that gets rid of there's a check in all those scripts that says, if quest stage is higher than the stage is trying to set, don't set that earlier stage. And we just created our own version of it that doesn't have that. That way our quests can set stages in whatever order we need them to, and it makes the quest system much more flexible. Going down further, I saw another one. Let's see, nobody in the CPD HQ. I'm getting a pretty nasty visual bug. If you've got any bugs, please post them on the forums. Usually somebody else on the team, or some of the community rock stars, or some of the testers will catch those and go check them in their game real quick and find out if it's a problem in the mod, or if it's just like a conflict maybe that you've got, or maybe sometimes it turns out to be loose files you've got from an old mod. But we need someone to verify it, because otherwise we will never stop chasing bug reports, because there's bug reports come in faster than I could possibly research them all. So we tend to prefer them go through the forum, because we've already got, I think, 200 confirmed reports of various things to take care of, so we can't be chasing everything. So please post to the forums. Screenshot would be awesome. Tell what quest you were on, etc., and then somebody can verify it for us, and they'll put it on our list once they've verified it. Let's see, Robert Denary, that's the series I would like to get the fixed ones you have. So the fixed one, yeah. I'm trying to think how I could get that to you. So, you could get them right now if you go onto our forums, on the news section, there's the research on the long save bug. Or I'm sorry, there's the bounties. There's a post in the news about bounties. The source for us is 2 is there right now. You could go grab it if you wanted. That is not going to stay there forever, and it's not meant for mass distribution. But we needed to give it to people who are working on the bounties. And eventually I will open up the source so that everybody can look at it and just put it up on Git as a public repo, but not until after we finish the release, because I don't want people to be releasing patches or scripts that are going to interfere with what we're trying to do until after we're done. So like once I'm done with the mod and it's like, all right, that's, maybe I'll come back for bugs fixes after this, then releasing the source and then giving people kind of open permission to be like, go ahead and release patches or whatever you need to do to fix things, then it won't be a problem. But if people release a copy of one of our scripts in their mod, it'll end up causing all sorts of havoc down the line if we try and change something. Let's see here. Canuck82, the best way to make sure King sees your command. Oh yeah, Canuck's always on the ball with that and letting everybody know. 100 Redneck, I'm doing CPD right now, working fine so far. Good to hear. I know there were a lot of reports about CPD, but I had so little experience with it, I decided not to touch it, and then I waited for SAG to come back, and then I think you found that most of the problems aren't repeatable that people were reporting. Is that fairly accurate? Because like I know there's
just specific things like there's people that have Shandy just keeps following them for some reason, and I can't get that to happen. Stuff like that, where it's like, that's what I was saying before, where certain bugs that I see on the forum or on our Git is sort of like, this thing happens and we haven't experienced it, or nobody, nobody on the testing team has experienced it, but I see these reports and I'm like, and I'll go in and I'll try to make it happen, and I can't get the dude to just, like, he always runs away and goes back to the thing for me. So
Save files help. Attach and save files. Put them up on a Google
Yeah,
Drive,
exactly.
share them, and put them in your post. And that way we can, even if we don't have your load order, we can try and load it, and sometimes we can still figure stuff out.
see what stages are set, all that kind of stuff. But for CPD, like, one of the things that I know that I saw a little bit. Where is it at? Someone said they're having an issue with CPD where someone's dead.
Like one of the main characters.
Something like that. Where's the I'm trying looking for.
All right. Well, while you're looking for that, Robert Denary, I do not know where the folder is, but if you search for set stage on, you should find a couple of them. That's usually what they were. We created copies of the set stage ones.
Up above, Thiago Sunfeld said, I'm still having issue with the CPD quest where the character is dead. The CPD quest is a failable quest line. It's one of those things where we didn't really announce it or tell people that, but it is written to be where if it, like, Lena and Simon can both die at specific points. Even in the first meeting that you have with them, you can get in a gunfight with them, and like their quest line is unavailable. So it's sort of like, that's another thing where sometimes bugs aren't bugs; they're design suggestions.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's particular what this.
I think that's unique to
Shadows
CPD. We don't usually do that in our quest lines. We usually just mark everybody essential because we're more interested in people playing the quest. But
yeah, this one is sort of like, I mean, we never discussed it, but it was sort of like, there's a whole fail quest where if Lena dies, it triggers this quest, which makes them your enemy. If you've taken over the P8 station or South Boston or East Boston PD, if you've already taken those over and then you fail the quest, all the officers there die, and the Hellhounds take over those stations.
Oh, man.
So it's sort of like, it's a pretty involved little fail system.
Right.
And it's sort of, I guess it's not necessarily, I don't tell you. I say Indy wrote it and I put it together, but we don't tell you like the criteria for failing. Like one of them in particular is when you take over the when you get their new HQ, Lena runs off to go to take the HQ if you do it together. And there's an 18-hour timer. Spoilers or hint for, cheating hint for people who are paying attention, where if you don't get there within 18 hours, the quest fails and Lena dies. If when you get there and she goes inside, if you just stay outside while she goes inside and you wait 6 minutes in game, which is an hour, then Lena dies and you fail the quest, and those officers will start shooting you. So it's a pretty in-depth fail system, which is something that, like I said, we didn't really advertise, so some people might be running into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that might have been a mistake on our part, just because it goes against the pattern we usually follow, but because there was this big fail-safe. But the CPD is definitely our like most like crazy complicated side faction that we've ever done. There's so much depth to that, and there's a whole series of radiants, and I think some of them are in and some of them aren't right now. That we've got to add more to it to make it so you can do kind of like little police missions over and over again. That's one of those things where ND Cowdy is who's the writer of that, is on another mission right now, and when he finishes that, I'll probably have him double back and make sure all those bounty quests get fixed. But yeah, there's CPD's pretty deep quest line and some fail paths, so it might not be bugs, might be fail path. But you can post on our forum, somebody can verify for you. Let's see, Riley Twilly, I just finished talking down the gunners in the hospital, but the quest is just stuck and I can't continue the Nightingale quest. Is It just points me at the hospital endlessly. Any ideas? I could have sworn. I mean, I'm usually when you talk them down, don't you talk to Cersei and then that continues things? I don't remember that quest.
Not Fiona.
Or Fiona, sorry.
Once you talk them down, Fiona. You talk to Fiona, Raphael, and then they walk away.
Yeah.
That's how that quest should finish. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That would be a bug report.
Potential bug, yeah.
Yeah. I do know that the end of that quest has given us issues in the past, and I have fixed specific things with that quest. But most of all the paths were tested, so.
Post a bug report, include a save file, and we'll take a look.
Yeah.
We'd love to see a save of that issue. Tarmain says, do the new faction quests like Nightingale CPD require the completion of Chapter 1? They do not. As soon as you have a total of 30 residential plots across 3 settlements, then those 2 factions can start showing up to the world. So it's just kind of reacting to you doing stuff. The Nightingale's quest line, I think you can meet them, but you can't start their quests until after you finish new plots on the block in Chapter 1, and that's because you need, before they're unlocks to make sense, you've got to have access to municipal plots. But otherwise,
I think we even pushed it back. Their quest line isn't available till martial law. Is that 17?
I think that's broken right now. I think it's at quest 10 because I watched somebody do it on a Let's Play, and I was just like, whatever, that's fine. It looks.
They show up. They show up in the camp earlier, and you can talk to them, but for a little while you can't do their quest line, and then their quest line becomes available.
Yeah, and we have a. There's Nightingales that will show up and travel the Commonwealth, and one of them will appear in Concord, and they were supposed to be giving you notes to encourage you to go back, and that will now be working again in the next hotfix, which will be sometime.
That is a way to know if the quest line is active as well, as if the Nightingale is wandering Concord, then that means the quest is active.
Yeah.
They both trigger at the same time.
Yeah, so if you get a Nightingale magically appearing in front of you in Concord, it's probably that quest line suddenly became available.
Yeah, and Shandy showing up behind you. That's the other. That's what happens with 30 plots for the CPD. Is Shandy runs up to you, and that's where I think people are encountering the Shandy bug. And some people have it, and some people don't. Some people have it in one playthrough, and then they test it again, and they don't. So it's sort of one of those weird things. It's an AI thing where CPD was set up a little bit differently than our main quest AI process, whereas CPD we used everything is triggered with a global and a task, and Shandy, he's set to do something when we set that global a specific number, and what I think might be happening is scripts get caught up and things happen. I don't know if he doesn't get set to trigger the other package, so he's just continuing to follow you because that's what his package is telling him to do.
Yeah, I think I've also seen a similar thing happen in the quest from Chapter 1. It came from Planet X. Katie, the little girl, will sometimes, if you fast travel right away, she'll fast travel with you. And I think that's like a weird quirk in the scene system of the engine, where if you fast travel like in a conversation, it can sometimes bring the character you're talking with you. So it might be something like that. Like people are fast traveling away from Shandy. The scene hasn't quite ended yet, and so he gets ported with you, and then his package gets stuck. Could be something like that. But that's one of those ones where if we just get a couple of saves with the issue, we'll be able to figure out a fix for it and put in catches to work for that.
Yeah, we had a tester that did an immediate fast travel to Malden Middle School after talking to Aiden before Main Quest 15 completes. And so it completed after he fast traveled and he was already there. So all the stuff that's supposed to happen with Aiden on a player teleport didn't happen because he was already there. So like the quest marker was pointing him to the little place where you meet Aiden, but Aiden never showed up. He actually would have showed up if he'd have just waited, because Aiden's package does tell him to go there.
He would have had to walk though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't have changed his clothes. That's the only other thing. That's the two things that happen whenever you teleport. Is it moves Aiden to that point, and it changes his gear. So he'd have just been wearing his regular gear.
What do you think about all of our costume changes? I feel like that's something that Bethesda never bothers with. Sir Rick has us doing it a lot. I don't feel like it doesn't take a lot of time to do. So I don't.
No, I love it. I have Aiden. I think I have him in 4 different costumes. Lupe, I have her in 2 different costumes. Jake changes costumes. I even changed different. There's a Aiden outfit for attacking the vault in Main Quest 16, which is different from his combat gear for Main Quest 22. I got so many costume changes in there.
Yeah,
I would have costume changes for every quest for everybody.
The Aiden one, he ended up with a bunch of extra by just kind of accident.
Right.
So when I ported Conqueror's a copy of Aiden forward, because we were going to try and do a lot more cross stuff with SS2 and Conqueror when we first decided to bring in Aiden onto it. And so I ported his character in, and he had an outfit in there. So I was like, oh, we might as well keep that. We might need it. And then a different outfit got designed for him for HQ, and we realized his outfit from Conqueror was a little too intense for just seeing him out and about. Like, he was in like combat fatigues with camo, and I was like, that's too much for just him kind of just hanging around all the time to be in that gear. So we wanted something a little more relaxed, and then me or Sir Rick did an outfit for one quest, and then you decided you wanted to match the trailer, so you did another outfit for him. So we ended up with 4 outfits.
Yeah, Teresa, she's got a new outfit because everything that was in the trailer, I went and made a new outfit for, because I wanted to match that shot. And everybody's position is where they were in that trailer shot as well. And all the Minutemen are sort of in the same spot, and the Institute people are sort of in the same spot.
Yeah. I love that. That trailer came out really awesome. I'm so glad we got to do that. But it was super faked because we did not actually build that quest until like 2 months before release.
So I want to focus on this. Jim Simon says, King Gath, can we check on the settler that keeps falling down in the background? I've been watching that dude do that for the whole
He's
time
putting on a show for us. I went and, I mean, as you guys saw, I scanned him with the Vitamatic, but I remembered I don't have the upgrade from the Nightingales yet, so it's not showing me anything useful. Probably got some sort of disease, and like clearly their health keeps dropping. So yeah, that's a funny settler.
That's like when I was first testing 22, where the raid, where before you would set the main characters to not have diseases. Teresa was always sick because she was in a settlement the whole time. She's the only one of our main characters that lives in a settlement. So when she'd show up to the place, I'm testing. I'm not doing any settlement building. I'm just testing the game. And especially when I was testing the whole main quest, so Teresa would always be sick, and she's just like keeling over the war room thing.
She also, usually what ends up happening for most people I've been watching play, she ends up coming to HQ diseased, and then she infects everybody else because of the way the disease system works. It looks for existing diseases, and like those are the most likely ones that'll happen at a settlement. So let's go back. I missed quite a few messages up here. Too Far Gone. Do you plan to create a walkthrough video for HQ quests, starting with bathrooms and additional living spaces? I'll probably do a tutorial series for that, yeah. But I think I want to first fix up the bugs. And there's a lot of post-launch content that got pinned for that I want to finish up. So I think I'll probably do that stuff before I bother making a bunch of videos about it. Because it takes a long time to produce a reasonable series of educational videos on this stuff. Like I remember when I did the Conqueror series, it was like a month of planning and getting those work, and then still people say I'm too wordy and unfocused. So it's like, well, I got it. I'm gonna have to put in more than a month's time in planning those out to make sure that they're done in a way that teaches people slowly, but also doesn't have me saying too much. Finding the balance there with tutorials is tough, so I'll wait until after I've got the stuff in.
That's the big thing that got me fully involved, because I loaded up Fallout 4. I instantly maxed out my load order with SS1, and then a week later SS2 released. So I changed a whole new maxed out load order based around SS2, and then started watching all of your how-to vids to try to figure out how to use all the bits and pieces.
And funny enough, I never did that for SS2. I still haven't to this day.
Yeah.
That's another thing on the list. I think it's kind of like So my plan long term with some settlements and stuff is after we finish all the story content, is we're going to kind of put the mod into bug fix mode and quality of life mode, where it'll be just stuff that I can kind of work on piecemeal as I'm going along, while I'm also working on some other project, whatever it may be, and it will not require a bunch of other people. Right now, the quest content requires a big old team of people. We have to constantly, like, we act like a little company, even though none of us are getting paid. Like today, I had to send out a calendar system to get everybody set up with one-on-one meetings. It's like super organized. And it's cool to be able to do that, but eventually it's got to end. We can't do it forever. So at that point, I'll move into kind of bug fix mode, and I'll start producing content like that, like creating the final tutorials. Like, it's like, all right, I'm done with SS2. Here are how everything plays, and then I want it to do it again. I want to, because like with SS1, I had to recreate those tutorials like 3 times because they kept getting obsolete.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Abdulio. Yeah. Have you thought of contacting Shoddycast to make use of the storyteller character? One of the Shoddycast guys did contact me at some point, and I don't remember what it was in regards to, but I asked if they would be interested in doing my podcast, and they said yes, and then my podcast, I shut it down. So that was my last contact with Shoddycast folks. Let's see here.
Riley Twiley, best thing I would suggest, if you're not going to post or as well as posting a bug report, is to try to reload a save a little bit earlier and see if you can recreate it. Try to go through the scene again and try to talk them down, or try a different path. Currently, same thing, I guess. I read a little bit. Dude, knock it off. Sorry, my dog. Down a little bit, Thiago Sunfeld posted again about the gunner being dead in the first little meeting, and she shouldn't be. So that's if you have a modded in place that alters gunners and maybe makes people not essential, then maybe she could die. That could happen.
I think we use a unique record for her, so I think that wouldn't be.
I think she does have a unique record.
Yeah.
She is. I think she is in a. No, she's. I don't think she's in a faction at all. I don't know, but she shouldn't be dead. She should be essential.
Yeah.
So that's an issue that I don't think we could fix on a current save. So
right. Yeah, if somebody's dead on a current save.
That one as well, I would suggest maybe trying to reload a little bit earlier. Sorry that's the suggested solution, but sometimes it's modding,
Yeah, I would say if you have a save where before you've approached the CPD for the first time and you show up and they're dead, like that would be a useful save to look at with a bug report for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, definitely.
PTP Racing, how do I get to being able to deal with incurable diseases? It is an HQ. So what you end up doing there is finish the How to HQ quest. So recruit the people, and then a quest will start called Is There a Doctor in the House? And then Mansfield will tell you about the Nightingales, and it will force their quest line to be available if it hadn't been previously. Then you go do their quest line, and you recruit someone from them, and then the quest line will teach you how to cure incurable diseases, and then you can, if you want to go hardcore in HQ, you can eventually unlock cures and vaccines for every disease that we've introduced. So it takes a long time, and it's designed to be like a end game activity that you can work on. But yeah, that is available as an option. Robotenary 30 plots is a lot. Can that go to bed counts and multi-res count better? I mean, maybe we would add that eventually, but 30 plots across a bunch of settlements shouldn't be a huge deal. Like
3.
And it could be, but it could be across more. It could be, it would be like if you had 10 settlements with 3 each, that would count too. But the goal was to get the feel that they're showing up because of stuff you're doing as the player. They're not just showing up arbitrarily. So like it's in reaction to you rebuilding. And so 30 I thought was a pretty small number, because that would be, if we did 3 settlements with 10 plots each, 10 settlers is, even if you have 1 charisma, you can get 11 settlers. So the goal with that is for simulation purposes. Now, somebody could patch that if they want. It would be real easy to make a patch for our unlock system, because it would just be editing these little miscellaneous records. So if somebody wanted to make a patch to allow them to just appear immediately or whatever, it would be real easy to do.
Yeah, they could.
Let's see. Robert Holt just saw the final fight with the Gunners. Don't need to know Berman's background. Why not ask Berman if he's pain tolerant? How would he like to die, fast or slow?
He's like, I don't need to know anything about Berman. I just need to know if he wants to die right now.
We always end our like big baddie encounters with some sort of talking scene. I feel like that's just the Bethesda way. It would be so anticlimactic if you just always shot them from afar, especially if you're trying to play if you're trying to RP or play a charisma character. It would be pretty bad. And then for even people who don't want to play that, I think like Bethesda allows you to just murder people, most people in the game, like even the ones that, you know, might have important quest information for you outside of the main quest line. We tend to not. We want you to at least have a brief conversation with everybody. Let's see here. Jim Simon, can we check on the settler keys? Okay, that was one you said earlier.
Yeah, that was the one I jumped ahead.
Let's see. Kenneth Creason still having issues with HQ. Still not seeing any scrap coming in with 3 supply lines coming in. I'm gonna, now that we've got the reset bug fixed, I will start looking at HQ bugs again. So I had just kind of hit the brakes on changing any code there until we figured out the reset bug. Now that that's fixed, I can put those back on my radar. Let's see here. Does having Canuck 82, does having illness disable affect the Nightingale quests? No, they'll still work anyway.
The next one, Bijanao Stags. Once you finish CPD, if you went Simon's path, which is the justice path, Lena doesn't, she stops buying scalps from you. So you would not have failed that quest. But if you can still talk to the CPD in their HQ, then you know, after finishing the quest, you're still good. Talking to Simon and asking, what's the one? It's I need some help or something like that. One of it, he has a couple. The way the CPD was written, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of different paths and questions and different things you can do with them. So each path sort of like splinters off into different things. So Simon's, when you talk to him, you can either ask him for help, ask him questions, or I think it's like I need your help. But the I need your help brings you to another choice, which is I'm looking for work. I want to report a kidnapping and something else. The I'm looking for work leads you to the detective path if you've not done that. He will talk to you about becoming a detective.
And then you get a little badge in your inventory.
And then you get a little badge in your inventory.
Doesn't do anything, but it's...
Yeah, it just shows up as in your inventory.
Caillou Dong, I want to add repopulated interior cells in Concord. Should I inject to the Concord controller? No, if you want to do more interior cells for that, check out the search for Thompsons in our plugin, and you'll find the world repopulation thing that we did for them, so you can figure out, kind of reverse engineer the Thompsons, and you'll get an idea how to do it. It's pretty easy. The tutorials are up on our wiki for the world repop stuff, and they are an example of how you do unique settlers. Let's see, Matio. I had a settler that kept falling over even when I had diseases turned off. I sent her to HQ and she kept doing it, refused to work or even change clothes, so I had to put her down. Okay, so you're saying that so you're saying we need to execute our settler over here, that they're done for. I don't know what that is. I'll look into it off camera. I don't know why they're dropping like that. Because if somebody's dropping to their knees like that over again, it means their health is going to 0 or going to 1. And a disease shouldn't be doing that. The diseases are not designed to do that. They're only designed to affect special stats. So I don't know what's going on with her. Let's see here. Riley Twilight just reloaded. Tried again. Okay, you already read that one. Yeah, if you can't continue the HQ quest line until I figure it out. I don't know which one you were referring to. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah, I would say, I mean, the best thing you can do if you're stuck on an issue is going to be post to our forums, include a save file, describe as much as you can, and hopefully some folks will be able to point you in the right direction or confirm it's a bug that I can actually fix. I will say with
Charlie was stuck on Nightingales.
On Nightingales, okay.
She probably got sent because of maybe that. I don't know. But that's a bug we had earlier where we had some dialogue stuff that wasn't working after being sent there by the main quest. So maybe that's related. I don't know.
Yeah, but
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are doing that out of order now. I think a lot of people are getting night gills sooner. Maybe not. Maybe we need to go test again with first encountering them after the main quest. Not crazy. F4C question. Using Vortex as a loader, upon downloading F4C and injecting the files into the game as instructed, do I need to have F4C enabled on Vortex as well? I don't know. I stopped using Vortex. It causes a lot of problems for when you use it in the directory that you're building mods in. So I am not a good expert on Vortex related things anymore.
I do use Vortex. I think you do have to have it enabled, but even with using Vortex, I don't really launch from Vortex. I still launch with Script Extender's loader. So, but yeah, you should have all mods that you want to use in Vortex enabled.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer. Robert's in area. If endurance drops too low, so does HP. Okay, so yeah, maybe she's got such a nasty endurance penalty, it's dropping her to 0 health. But I think you would have to have like because I think Settler's base health is like 40, even if they have no endurance. So I think they would have to be like a -5 endurance hit, which would be a pretty crazy disease to come to my settlements already. But maybe it did. I'll find out when we get to the Nightingale quest, and I can scan her properly and find out why she's dropping like a fly. Lauren Woods, I just want to say thank you and the team for letting me flirt with Jake. I know that seems like a silly thing to be happy about. We'll be fully romanceable in later chapters. I will let Sir Rick answer that because I'm sure you will have follow-up questions. Sir Rick is in chat. He's the lead writer, so he's in charge of deciding what happens with Jake. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it looks like someone is tagging Sir Rick already.
He was thanking me for the answer for the Simon HQ.
Gotcha. Okay. So what was your favorite quest to work on? Like, what one did you enjoy working on the most? You did a lot. You did a lot of quests. I mean, there were probably 30 with your touch on them.
Whew, I would say maybe even more if you think about it. I mean, Nightingales is 5 quests. CPD is 11 quests. Main quest 15 through 22, and then all the conquered bits, so many. Let me see, favorite quest. Really the favorite thing that I worked on, I thought about this, would have to be the putting together the battle, the raid, just because with my film background, that was the most that I felt like making a movie, like a cinematic.
Right.
So that would be my favorite little bit that I worked on. It's more of like a mixture of things. It's like setting all the stuff up for 16 was really cool. All the different paths. Nightingales was probably my favorite overall quest line, just as a whole. Because of all the different choices and that kind of stuff. Behind the scenes, you don't really know it, but that first quest in the ship, there are 3 different points, I think it is, where what you do determines something later on in the quest. Whether you talk to Raphael determines what he says to you later on. Picking up the books or the vaccines, or both, all have different results later on in the quest line. And also, really, the funnest thing for me to do is all the little background stuff that nobody really notices, I guess. If you're just playing straight through, if you just play the quest and you're tapping A to get through the dialogue, and running to each point, killing the person, getting the thing, bringing it back, then you sort of miss all these little nuances that I threw in that you'll unless I tell you, which I'm about to do now, you wouldn't really see. Like one in particular is Simon's the judge quest, where you go out and talk to the judge. After you finish talking to the judge, Simon walks back out to the truck where you meet him in the beginning, and you talk to Simon, finishes the quest, and he runs off back to the HQ. Most people will instantly travel, fast travel away, open their Pip-Boy, figure out their next quest, and go on. But if you hang out, you'll notice that the judge walks down the little staircase and walks out to the dock, and chills out on her little dock in a chair, looking at her view, which she asked you to leave her alone to. It's those little things like that that I like the most. Doing the quests are great, but it's sort of like those little bits and pieces, the traveling medics, the filling the camp when the Nightingales move away into Mass Bay. That camp is still active. Most players are never going to go back to that camp. But if you just so happen to be in near Diamond City, you're playing a survival playthrough and you don't fast travel, you pop into the Nightingale camp and there's a medic in there, and you could buy some stems and get some, it's that kind of stuff that I really was the most enjoyable for me. And like I said, most people aren't going to even engage in a lot of that little bits.
And you guys just heard why Sag is a much better quest maker than me, and I'm sure Sarik and Cynical and Indicati all prefer him to do their quests, because I usually am convincing them, we don't need that crap because I don't have time, but we do need that crap because that crap is not crap. It is amazing. It really adds a lot of life, and I appreciate that you put in all the effort for that. There's actually some more stuff that we had in that vein that we had to cut just because even you ran out of time, where it was like, there's only you got, like, we wanted to do all the little what do you call them, the checkpoints that are all over that the main factions take over. It was like, well, the gunners should take those over, and we just didn't have time to do it. And there's stuff like that where those little flavor bits where when you experience them, just make the world feel more alive and make the characters feel more real, instead of just following little green icons and whatnot. Because some of our quests we don't put in that effort, and like I think that's one of those things we've kind of been trained poorly on with all the side quests in the game, is that we just expect them to not have anything. The characters just kind of ignore whatever you just did throughout the game, and we're guilty of it too. But when they do continue to do what they say they were going to do, it does feel really awesome.
Yeah. Well, and also one of the things, one of the other favorite things about working on the mod for me was the team effort. And a lot of those little bits came from, I'm finished with this, it plays fine, I've added all the bits and pieces, and it works. This is releasable. But then someone else would pop in, our set designers, Nof, the writers would come back in and tweak a note that I had added in, little things like that, and those changes resulted in something else that I would add in just to make it work. The way that we, we're designing it as we went along. In particular, when you take over the Badful HQ in CPD, I just had them wandering around, and then I went in and I kind of removed some stuff and never had anything really severely added. And then Nof went in and redecorated everything, and she was asking if she could delete some stuff that was in the area that Simon was in, which is basically filing cabinets. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. What I'll do is I'll go in the water right outside of Badful and enable a bunch of filing cabinets that are out in the water that just pop up whenever you do that. And it's like, again, it's a stupid little thing that maybe one or two people will notice, but if you're running out there and once Badful's taken over, Simon has rebuilt this whole little area. You walk outside, in the water to the left is a pile of filing cabinets. So it's like, those are the fun little things that I like, that sort of are added because of how we work together as a team, and how we sort of like work on something for a bit and then hand it off to the next person. Then that person sort of adds their stuff to it. Then when it comes back to you, it's sort of like, it's not that you're fixing things that they messed up. You're fixing things so that everything works cohesively.
Yeah, I think it's something I'm hoping we get more of it with Chapter 3 dev, because we're going to kind of change our methodology. So that we're all working on the same stuff together a little more. Like it tends to be with Chapter 2 dev and all the dev that we've done on SS, on all Sim Settlement stuff over the time, is it tends to be everybody works in a silo. And part of that came from just we've kind of had a constantly revolving team, different people come. But this is the first time where we have almost the exact same team going into Chapter 3 as we did Chapter 2. We've learned how to work together, and I think with just kind of coordinating our efforts, we'll be able to get to those points more quickly to where, you'll have a draft done that people can play and give feedback on, and we can add those little bits of polish and really go deep on all this stuff. As I see XV asking, I would love the extras and slice of life, hoping we can get some nice scenes in HQ to learn about the HQ leaders. That is absolutely something on our table we want to do. We want those HQ leaders to feel kind of like, not quite companions, because doing a companion is a crazy amount of work, but to feel like they're living people interacting with each other and not just ignoring each other. So that's definitely something we want to do. That Sam Phillips or Carvac, the guy is very sick. Are you sure you have sickness off? I actually have sickness on. I don't have it off. So I just, usually you don't get the really bad sicknesses until later in the game. It takes quite a while before those show up. So, but as soon as I get the Nightingale scanner, I'll zap him if I know what's going on. I might do it off camera, just go run some console commands on him to see what's going on, because I am very curious why he's up, down, up, down, up, down. Looks like Riley Twilly got the quest working.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good to see.
He killed the gunners instead. It is a 48-hour wait after that quest for the next progression. So I don't know if you noticed when you were playing. I apologize for all the waits for Conquered stuff, because like Caleb is, when you talk to him and it's a 2-hour wait, or it's like I think it's like a 2-hour wait before he goes to his house or something like that. And then after you talk to him, there's another wait, because it's sort of like, it was this whole thing of like the way that it was written.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, you were locked in. Yeah.
There were sort of these like disjointed progressions. It's sort of like, hey, this, what if you go to talk to him, there was no real lines that we had in, and I wasn't rewriting any of the quests. That was another thing. I was just sort of implementing what was there. I didn't want to change the dialogue that the writers had written. So with Caleb's quest, it was like, how do I make this work better?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, and the line was like, give me a few hours to clean this up. So I don't know if you caught that, but I put in a sort of a little joke, whereas you walk away from Caleb for a little while, and when you come back, he told you to give him a few hours to clean up. When you come back, there's another body there. There's a new body. So he didn't clean up. He in the time that you gave him to clean up, he actually went and killed another person and brought him back home. So that's another thing that people don't get, is Caleb's supposed to be a little suspect in his his efforts.
Super sus for sure. The I think the Conquered stuff, some of that was on me. I just didn't organize that setup correctly. Like in what we generally do when we're going through and setting up quests is we will iterate over them and we'll rewrite stuff. And that one, that just never happened. We didn't really get any rewrites on it, which is we did a little. I think we figured out we needed to rewrite a bit of Edmund's intro to explain the community board when we decided to add that. But yeah, a lot of the Conquer didn't get the rewriting that the other quest lines got to fix up stuff like that, like things where, on paper it played out good when you're writing it, and then in the game it's like, this feels awkward and clunky.
Right.
But,
and I think a lot of our intentions of what the stories were supposed to be, we sort of tried to put in things to get them to at least hint at them, but if we could have spent more time to make it, I guess, a little bit clearer. And one of those is the Caleb's juxtaposition with him having you be a hitman. Like essentially you go in, but then that leads you, quest wise, that leads you to the CPD if you haven't already triggered them. And the idea was sort of like, Caleb has you going out and you're like trying to investigate and find his wife, but really all you're doing is going out and killing thugs. Whereas when you get to the CPD, then there's an actual, hey, can you go investigate this place for me? Can you go do this thing? So that juxtaposition of actually being a police officer and investigating cases, Nick has you be a detective. As a police officer, you go and you check out this this thing, and that we put it in there, and it's there, but it's not implicit.
Right. We don't say it outright. Well, I mean, there's a reason Caleb is no longer allowed to be part of the CPD. Like,
exactly.
Mateo is Codsworth on assigning everything in Vanillabug. I think so. I've seen reports of that as long as I've been involved with settlement modding. And we don't do anything to Codsworth that would make him, like, we don't touch him. So it's nothing from us. Let's see here. All right, I think that's the end of those questions. If you guys got any questions, definitely tag me at King Geth. We'll continue to go down that road. So what are you looking forward to with Chapter 3 without giving things away? Like, as far as, you know, now that you've kind of got your systems all worked out, I mean, are you looking forward to, like, starting a new quest from scratch, knowing what you know? Is that exciting? The idea of that, like, you get to not have any of the baggage from your old quest designs?
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing, is to get to start again, you know, building on what we already have, but starting a new batch of quests and sort of the things we learned even at the very end of the dev of Chapter 2 with the main quest and CPD and the way that Nightingales runs. Now that we're able to start again, we can go in and create those create those initial quests that control everything and you know, push through this next little batch that we have. Well, again, without giving anything away, a lot easier than we did this time, and a lot more cohesively. That's kind of one of the things I'm looking forward to. The little bits and pieces that people don't know about is definitely exciting for me, trying to figure them out.
Yeah.
Those are the most exciting things, you know, the problems that we need to solve.
Yeah.
But really, honestly, I don't think this is much of a spoiler. I'm excited that we've decided to go deeper with what we're doing instead of more wide.
Yeah.
With Chapter 2, we have so much content, and it's great, and it gives everybody so much to play at. But each bit we was only able to do so much polish on, whereas creating our scope, diminishing our scope a little bit this time allows us to focus more on the stuff we have and make them even better, more dynamic, and more enjoyable, and hopefully less bugs this time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I like that we're tightening up the scope and going deeper instead of wider. The width, I think, is nice because it makes the mod feel like it goes on forever, right? Like, because like a lot of people, they're gonna start seeing like, oh my god, another quest line, and they might not even do it, but just knowing it's there. It's kind of like when you first start playing a Bethesda game and you start exploring, and then you just get more and more quests in your log, and you're like, holy crap, this game is huge, this world is, I'm never gonna finish this. It kind of gives you that feeling of like there's just unlimited things to do, and I like that, but I don't think we need to keep doing it. I think like there's a limit of how many people are actually going to experience all that content anyway. So I think like one level of width there, when we already had it in Chapter 1 with all the recruitable settlers, but adding it with the factions and stuff, I think it gives the feel we want of the world growing in response to the player's actions, and like that there's actually an impact and that people care about what the player's doing. And then now with Chapter 3, we get to go deeper on the characters we're doing, have stories that matter a little more, have things that go a little more personal, make the characters feel more alive. And the other thing I think that we failed at in Chapter 2, and it was because we went so wide, is there were too many missed opportunities of interconnectedness, because we built kind of those were each of those. 3 of the quests, the Nightingales was pretty tightly done with alongside the main quest, but the other 3, the Conquered, the CPD, just the Conquered and CPD, and then the Settlers, they were all done completely independent of the other stuff. So there's opportunities for crossover there that we missed out on, and that we're not going to touch on ever, even though it like seems like, oh, that person could be cool here, or like, oh, I hope that person shows up over here, and they don't. And like, that's a bummer. We're going to try and repair a little of that for Chapter 3. So like one of our team members, Sir Locke, is looking into a lot of our characters, and if you go to the forums, there's an open poll right now on the news page where you can vote for your 3 favorite settlers, and we're going to try and get those voice actors to come back and add a little more depth to them, to try and tie them a little more into the content, give them the appropriate lines to respond to HQ events, to respond to the upcoming Conquer events, stuff like that. So like that's a thing we're going to try and repair a little. But had we had, like, say we only did Nightingales, right, and we didn't do those other 2, then we could have gone like a really deep Nightingale quest line and like had it interconnect with all the different characters and stuff, or you know, even just CPD and Nightingales, or just Nightingales and Conquer, just 2 of them, we would have had a better interconnection between them. And so I think Chapter 3 we get to do that, because we're cutting a lot of the fat.
Yeah. And we do have a couple of extra things that people will be excited about too. That you know, we'll not like we're not adding anything new. You know.
Oh no, for sure. In fact, there's even another faction coming in, and like there's definitely side content for sure, but it's not at the level of like CPD. Like CPD was crazy, how deep that is. Especially when you talk about all the stuff you talked about the fail endings that you put all that effort into. Like we're gonna avoid doing stuff like that. Like I would rather have it. I prefer the direction that Sir Rick started pulling us into in Chapter 2 of having more player choice, where we put that extra effort in to make the individual player's experience feel more like reactive to what they're doing. Because adding in a lot of player choice magnifies the workload, but doesn't add any width to the content. It doesn't add any, or I guess it doesn't add any depth. You don't go further into the game because we put in all that extra effort. So adding that player choice and stuff takes up a lot of our resources and will make our quest lines seem smaller, but those quest moments will feel better to individuals, is how I feel. All right, I got some questions to catch up on here.
Some of them are just suggestions.
Okay, well that's fine. Suggestions are good too. Abdulello, I do hope that new group in the Nightingale quest isn't just a enclave front. The idea of an NCR-like faction trying to expand like NCR with Vegas is exciting. I think you're talking about the little trading company with Lydia. That I won't speak to. I think that is getting some additions, but we'll let that for Chapter 3. You'll find out. Thiago Sunfeld, I have a suggestion after the quest for sedating ghouls to make them as city guards. Why not make a quest where you hunt with Thompson, a cave full of deadly death, and find a deathclaw egg?
I like it. We'll see. We'll see. We got some meetings to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see what makes it in. The Elias is one of my favorite characters.
I would say the struggle with Elias will be the voice actor. So the voice actor, when I contacted him, had no idea that we were a mod. No idea about anything. Even though he's done stuff on other mods in the past, it was a very odd conversation. And because he's trying to go pro, and then I finally realized he thought we were a video game, and I had to say, just so you know, this is an unpaid project. That we don't have funds for this. And he's like, oh, that's a real bummer. I was really hoping this was a paid gig, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. So I think he did it out of pity. So I don't know that we'd be able to get him to come back.
Well, maybe we'll you can go hunting with Ruby instead.
Yeah, there you go. We can get Ruby. She was her voice actress was understood what was going on right up from the get-go. Let's see. I got a super chat. Thank you. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry, Zingio, I think it is. Thanks for your hard work. Great to hear more about the process behind the scenes. Thank you for your donation. Appreciate it. Anoctium, fellow mod author, hello. Will you hang around in the F4 mod scene in the next few years, or is there plans to immediately start a Starfield project at the end of the year? So my plan personally is once Starfield comes out, I think our whole team is going to take a nice big break. We're going to go dive in and lose ourselves in a new Bethesda experience. And then we'll regroup at the end and see where we're at. So a lot of us like working together. So whether it be on, continuing in FO4 or Starfield or some other project, I think that is probably going to happen. I don't know in what form. Sag here has a lot of personal projects he wants to work on. I've got a lot of stuff I just want to learn, and I just am not. I'm not putting enough time to study because all of my free time goes to this, and I got to keep up on my craft, so I got to take a break from that step. But I will be around the F4 scene at bare minimum to kind of finalize everything SS. I want to make sure that the majority of the bugs are worked out. There will inevitably, you can never fix all the bugs in a Bethesda game. There's a reason that the unofficial patches for every one of their games, those teams are still going to this day, even something like Skyrim, which has been around for 10 years. So we'll never be bug free, but I'll get as close as I can.
Hey, Sebo.
Good morning, Sebo. So I will stick around and do bug fixes for a long time. I'm going to make sure that there's good documentation on the final form of the mod, so make sure there's a video tutorial series. I talked to one of the guy who did our website, Mr. Strong, about doing a series of infographics to explain a lot of the more complicated mechanics. We did those for Conqueror, and I think they helped a lot with people understanding the different resources, and I'd like to do that again for SS2, especially because Chapter 3 introduces a whole new resource system, which is some people are gonna be like, oh no, you got too many numbers, but we have a way to deal with that, which you'll find out in Chapter 3. But I want to make sure that we leave the mod in a good state. I want to make sure that the source is available for everybody. I want to come up with a set of permissions where people can release patches to fix issues that we couldn't, and not feel like they gotta wait for me to respond all the time. So there's just a whole lot of cleanup work, and and I'll probably find someone in the community to be the steward of SS2 when I'm ready to move on, of being like, hey, you have my permission to release patches, walk them through how to do it all, and just make sure it's left in good hands, because I imagine people will continue to play this mod for 10 years because we have no Fallout 5 anywhere in sight. So I would like it to continue to be a good experience for everybody, because I know some of those bigger mods from other games have gotten abandoned, and like they just don't, especially with when Special Edition came out, and Bethesda's going to repeat that. They're going to, like, if they can, to cash in again or start re-releasing Fallout 4, and then so being able to make sure the mod goes forward would be pretty awesome.
If Microsoft hires us to make New Vegas 2 settle the Mojave.
Well, yeah, I think that's like one of those the angel investor scene where we get picked up as a team. I think we'd have to roll a proper studio and announce a game, and then we could have that conversation.
Yeah, be like Ender Raw.
right, yeah.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to play Starfield, the whole thing first. We got to get our ideas of what we want to do. We gotta fly our ships and figure out how this all works. Yeah. And then also the new tools. I mean, it's a new engine, so we're gonna have to play with that as well.
Right, and like the idea of a Starfield just would fit perfectly into the type of game systems I like to make. Like, obviously, you could create a new planet, and just that could be a buildable place. Like, so it wouldn't be hard, and like would not be hard to port the code. And because Bethesda built the entire workshop system in Papyrus outside of like the UI, like it would be real easy to just port it as is right over, including all of SS2, over to another Bethesda game. I mean, assuming they haven't made any major crazy changes to their Papyrus system, it would be easy to port that stuff. But does it make sense in the game? We don't know until we play it. But my bet is they have included a base building and some sort of settler system in Starfield, because they know how popular it is in Fallout 4. It just would be crazy for them not to include it. Now, I don't know if maybe it doesn't fit with the theme of Fallout 4 or with Starfield. We don't know yet. So, right. But these are the types of games I like. I like to build system games. I do whatever I do. I think going forward, whatever project I build is always going to have stories involved, though. Like right from the get-go. Like now that I've got enough clout to be able to do this, I don't think I'll go back to doing it by myself ever again, which is what SS like if you go read the SS1 page, stuff's probably still up there about the future of it. And like, if you read it, it describes SS2. It was like to have like give you a purpose for settlements. Like I always wanted this. Like we're building what I had hoped to back then, but I couldn't possibly have done by myself. And so like that's the type of stuff I want to build. I'm always inspired by the Blizzard RTS games, where they like give you really cool gameplay systems, and they're tied into like an interesting story and characters on top of it.
Yeah, same.
So I want both, and it requires a lot of effort to do that. So
yeah, well, I mean, one of my side projects is essentially trying to recreate the feeling I had when I played through the original Warcraft series 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, nice.
This idea, this whole sort of a real-time strategy feel, but really sort of like the way 3 is where you have these heroes and you have this story that you're following along, and those are the people you're following, and you just sort of play this gameplay around it. But it's sort of combining, like you and I always talk about, like these city building SimCity plots and that kind of stuff, the city management game combined with real-time strategy, which is what everybody's trying to build who loves those type of games.
Yeah. Yeah,
essentially like, Frostpunk combined with, Warcraft 3 combined with, like Pharaoh.
Right, just we want all the best things from all the cool genres.
Yeah, all the best games. Let's just combine them and
the
make
super
awesome
game, one game to rule them all. Yeah, it's hard to resist that Siren's Call, because it's probably really impossible to do. I think one of the reasons that it feels good in Bethesda games, and the reason that Sim Settlements has captured people's imaginations, is because we want to play our characters forever. Like we want to, like we dream as we're building our mod list of like, I'm gonna ride this character to level 800. I'm gonna get every perk point. You never do, but the dream is there, and so like
start over and put a new game.
Yeah.
Especially when a new mod comes out.
Right.
Early on in the testing phase, one of the whole problems that we ran into was this. It might have been even after release, but it was a thing that I had talked about, which is modding. Anytime you start a new mod, like the best way to play it is to start a new game. You know,
Right.
so I think it was when we got into testing the old saves. You know, I was testing my save from last year, my chapter 1 save, with a max load order. Other people were testing their older saves, and were running into issues where they weren't working and certain things were broken. We didn't know if we would be able to just sort of continue without, you know, a lot of tweaks. And the whole idea is like when a new mod comes out, you start a new game. That's the
Yeah.
best way it works. Of course, it could work on your old save, but knowing how the mod works, everything works better from fresh, you know, from start script.
Absolutely.
You know, new game. You know,
Yeah.
so
I definitely put in the effort to always make sure our stuff is patchable in real time. Like I do it with all our patches. I do it with the X.0 patches. But we encouraged people to start over with chapter 2 with some of the new content we added. Like you get a more interesting experience playing through chapter 1 with chapter 2 installed because there's new stuff that gets introduced. There's some characters, some stuff happens a little bit differently if you got chapter 2 installed. So yeah, I think we tried to encourage that because you're right. It'll just every time you add a new mod, plays better if you start over. And I think also one thing we've all learned playing with mods is our saves have a time limit. Like before, inevitably, like it just gets unstable and it's going to be wonky to play, or like you're just like, oh well, I can't go to this part of the map anymore because it crashes, or I can't do that quest because it crashes or just gets stuck. You know, like you just never.
I have an issue with the theater district in my save right now. Nightingales is a precarious quest line that I have to approach from I have to fast travel to Bunker Hill, and I have to go into the theater district from that direction. I can't come from Diamond City. I can't fast travel to Mass Bay, but it's on this specific save with this specific load order, and it's like I walk into the theater district and game crashes.
That's a bummer. And I'm sure you're not. I mean, I think that's every Xbox player's tune. Oh yeah, well the theater district, that's close to downtown. Get out of here. Anactium's got quite a multi-stage question here. What are your hopes for Starfield? Would you rather it was Outer Worlds without the jokes or No Man's Sky with a story? Okay, so I did not like Outer Wilds. I did not even make it past the first planet. I just was bored, so I quit playing. I think the gunplay sucked. And then when I realized that they just they overdid it with the perk checks, they didn't feel special to me at all. So I was just like, and then like I didn't like the art style with the chroma filter they put on everything, like the coloration of it, like everything about that game rubbed me wrong. And so I quit. So I didn't get through it. No Man's Sky I haven't played. I've never been able to get into games that are open sandboxes. Like when I play Minecraft, as soon as I build my house and have a bed, I'm like, all right, I beat the game. They can't kill me anymore. So like I need a goal with my sandboxes. It's why Sim Settlements went to story mode, because I need a goal. I cannot just build like sandbox forever. Like that, like when I was playing Fallout 4 and I built up all those settlements and there was no payoff at the end, I was so pissed. And like that is one of the seeds that got planted for why I wanted to build what eventually became Sim Settlements 2. Is I love sandboxing, but I needed to have a purpose. And so like Starfield or No Man's Sky never interested me. So my hope for Starfield, I want it to be Skyrim in space with a leaning more towards Star Wars than Star Trek. I want the variety of alien species. I want the different planet types. I'd be totally fine if they put magic in there and called it the Force. Totally fine with that. That's what I'm hoping for with Starfield. It looks like from the concept art we are getting the visuals of. It looks like they're mixing kind of the visuals of Star Wars with the tech level of like Mass Effect more than they look more Mass Effect than Star Trek. Like Star Trek is like super clean. I don't know. It's got a different
it's Utopia.
Yeah,
Massive.
Utopia.
Star Trek is Utopia.
What are your thoughts on those games and Starfield?
I've never read the sci-fi it's based on.
Wait, is Starfield based on Starfield's based on sci-fi?
It's based on a specific property.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I did not know that. So no, I have not read or watched anything about it.
When I say based on, like I don't know if it's like a direct translation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's sort of there is a specific story that they are referencing, and which serves as the I guess the thematic drive of what Starfield's supposed to be. I never played Outer Worlds. I never played for myself. I played for about an hour on a friend's game. I thought it was cool. It didn't really interest me because everybody was like, it's like Fallout in space. And I played it and I was like, yeah, it's not really like Fallout in space. it was okay, but No Man's Sky, I loved No Man's Sky for a while, and I kept going and I kept jumping, and a friend of mine was playing at the same time, and he's the type of person that he plays a game for 8 hours every day until he's finished. And then then he never plays that game again. Where, as you know, I'm a person, like, I have a Skyrim game that I've been playing for 6 years.
Jesus.
I like to sit in and say, well, it's a character. And
Yeah.
He's trying to build out the Dragonborn gallery. There's a lot of pieces.
Right.
But anyway, he was ahead of me in the game, and with No Man's Sky, we was talking about it, and I told him, I was like, the whole point. Here's the thing: is if you get to the middle center of the galaxy, and all it is you go to another galaxy and you start over, then I'm gonna throw my PlayStation in the garbage. And he was like, don't throw your PlayStation in the garbage. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. So I love the whole process of No Man's Sky, but I played it very early on. I do have it. I have started playing it a little bit in VR, and that's pretty cool. I wish the controls were a little bit better. But No Man's Sky, my hopes for Starfield is that it is Mass Effect, but you get to fly your ship and go to any planet. And some planets are really cool and well designed and have some really cool Bethesda cities and settlements and places on them. And then there are a lot of other planets that are just planets with things on them. I do want multiple sentient races. I don't want just alien
shoot everything
cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But like you said, Skyrim in space, Star Wars.
Yeah, I like the idea, like Mass Effect with Skyrim's open world features of like lots of side quests and lots of areas to explore and being able to pick up everything. Like those little touches, man, they add a lot, like to make Bethesda's games feel unique. And I
do want it to be more. I would prefer it to be less. I don't necessarily want. I won't be disappointed if there's magic, like Mass Effect has the powers and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a video game. It's sort of. You're either a first-person shooter where you just shoot everything, or you give people extra things to do. I don't necessarily want it. I would prefer it to be more traditional science fiction because Fallout has magic.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, is it's kind of like every big property that goes super big, they kind of find a way to work it all in. Because really, I mean, what is magic but technology you don't understand, right?
Right, exactly. Well, that's how it works. That's why it works so well in Mass Effect, because it's all based around that. But I guess it's more. My interest is sort of building out a crew. I want those crew to benefit my ship. I want. If I decide to have this person as my pilot, that should give me different perks and that kind of stuff. I want my ship to feel like its own character that I can build. I wouldn't mind if the ship literally is a character. That kind of stuff. That's really what I want. And whatever story they give me of the galaxy. Right now it seems to be the typical. There are factions vying for control. I would like it to be dynamic, where they take over portions of the galaxy.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I think
I think that's the next evolution of a lot of game genres, is to start adding in systems that react to the player's choices, so that you see the whole world do things instead of just these like scripted quest moments to show responses.
And it's already there. Like we know, we always joke where Bethesda puts out a game, we love it, then we mod it for a few years, then Bethesda puts out another game and it uses a bunch of the stuff that we did in mods. We love that new game.
Right.
Then, then we mod the, so we already have in SS1 the systems where factions take over the landscape and vie for control.
Right.
So it's already, the ability for it is already there. So,
right.
With Starfield, they have these different factions. They could take over at least sections of area, because that's one of my favorite mods for Skyrim is Open Civil War, and when you enable that mod, they fight and take over towns on their own. So
Sure.
you'll get a notification that Dawnstar's been taken by the Imperials, and you go do some things, and then sometimes a couple of hours later, you'll get a notification. A couple hours in game, so a couple of minutes later, you'll get a notification that the Stormcloaks have retaken. So it's and it updates when you go there. The different guards are in.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it's there, and with the new engine, with these new systems, I think we're sort of expecting it.
Yeah, I think they'll add a lot of stuff. I mean that's one of the so a lot of people I've gotten asked many times of like, will you be upset if Bethesda steals some settlements and puts it in Fall 5? Like, hell no, then I don't have to do all this work. You know how many hours of my life and money I've put into this project, and like it was a monster thing. I mean, it's been a phenomenal project. I wouldn't change anything for the world, but yeah, if I can just play Fallout 5 and get the experience I was going for out of the box, I'm in. Please, Bethesda, steal. I mean, like that's how games are, right? It's everybody standing on the shoulders of giants. Like nobody invented every element of their games. We build on game genres and mix and match pieces we like and share ideas and eventually get to the coolest games out there. But another example I saw of that idea of like just every game ends up with magic in it is like Deathloop. For the longest time, I haven't played it yet, but I like the idea of it. But for the longest time during the marketing, it was just gunplay with the time loop, and then all of a sudden, like 2 months before release, they're like, and we just added the system from Dishonored. Like we just thought we'd toss that into. Like, okay, all right.
Because they were playing it and they realized it wasn't as fun. They were like, it would be cool right now if I had a magic power,
right.
Like what's the BioShock?
Yeah,
you know, it's like, you got guns and then you got magic powers.
Oh, Loveface is back. Time to report for pedophilia. Report. Let's see, child abuse. There we go. Reported. Bye bye, Loveface. All right, Inoctium, another one. How many times can you remotely call stage 10 on MQ102? Do we still have MQ102? Oh, wait, or is that you talking about for the main quest from the vanilla game? I don't.
The vanilla game.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about ours. I was like, did I forget to uncheck the run stage? I don't know what would happen when you run that at. And I feel like I should get that reference about the angels. That feels like something I've heard before, but I whooshed. Sorry, buddy. I don't get the cool points for that one. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Starfield. I just love, like, you can. I feel like what drives me to mod Bethesda's games is chasing the feeling of the first day I play them. It's like, I'm just like, I want that back. Yeah. Come on, where are all the cool quest mods? I want to feel like I have no idea what's happening. I want to feel like there's infinite possibilities around the corner. And like, but you never recapture it with the mods. It's only with the new games, which is one of the reasons I think 76 was such a huge disappointment. In the same way, for me, TES Online was such a huge disappointment. When that came out, I had like come off of a Skyrim high, and I was like, I am ready for another TES adventure. I get in there and I'm like, this is garbage. What is this? And especially
I didn't even play it. I never even played it.
It was totally. I mean, like now it's quite popular, but when it launched, it was just a garbage game. I don't know who their target audience was. I haven't played it since, but obviously enough people like it that they must have fixed something. But maybe its target audience was never actually TES players. Like maybe that's where it missed me. But.
Well, I have a friend of mine. He said, "Oh, it's just like playing Skyrim, but with a bunch of other people." And I was like, and I watched some videos of it. And I was like, "This ain't like playing Skyrim."
No,
bro.
not at all.
Like, well, especially like me, like that's my favorite. Elder Scrolls is my jam. And how much time I have spent, in all, Morrowind, Oblivion, and now Skyrim, especially modded Skyrim, it's just crazy. Like compared to. Like just watching ESO was like, I don't know, but I couldn't even give it a chance. Like even when it's free, like I don't know. It's like It's almost like I don't want to ruin my, my Elder Scrolls experience. I'll just wait for the next good mod to come out, and continue Sam Snead's the Orcs run of Skyrim, and when 80 years when Test 6 comes out and we just shout sword singing in Hammerfell, then I'll enjoy that as well.
Yeah, I think I just lost my train of thought on there because of the bot thing I keep seeing. Can't get the love face coming back. Didn't get the spam like we did last time, thankfully. But yeah, I was going to go with the online games. I feel like you can't, but one of the core parts of the Bethesda game experience is that you're alone. Like, it has to be a single player experience. I don't think it works any other way. I think even with co-op, you would still want to play through it once by yourself before you do co-op, because that is it's such an important part of the experience. If you walk out, every one of the games has this moment where you're presented to this open world and told, go do what you want. And as soon as there are other people involved, well, now those people are impacting that. They're going to guide you in some direction, whether it be your friend where you got to negotiate it, or seeing all these people like, oh, all the people are over there, I should probably go see what's going on. Or maybe I hate the other people, I want to go away from them. Like, there's going to be things that are steering you in a direction when you want that feeling of absolute freedom and unlimited possibility, and you can't get that outside of a single player game. At least that's my experience. I've never played a multiplayer game where I felt like, oh, I've got unlimited freedom ahead of me.
Well, just by design, it's a multiplayer game, so everyone has to go through a shared experience in the beginning, at least. So everybody has this, like, you've all done this intro, but you are the special person, but he's also the special person, and she's also the special person, and she's also the special person. So, like, when you all get put into the world together, you're just, especially like with 76, and I guess all of the MMOs that I've sort of played were kind of similar. I guess the one that I played, which was Star Wars Galaxies a long time ago, and that you just kind of threw you in the world. There was no, like,
it was a sandbox game, right?
Yeah, there was no, like, single player story that you were following. It was just like you're living in this world.
Right.
But like World of Warcraft, like, you sort of go through this same thing that everybody else is doing.
Right. Everybody's the Messiah.
Yeah. Everyone is special and no one is special. It's sort of, but with with the single player experience, you walk out and, like you said, it's just like, go do what you want to do, and it's your time to spend on it.
Yeah, for sure. Jim Simon, thank you for the super chat. Recapturing the feeling is exactly what SS2 has done for me. Thank you for that. That's amazing. That's great to hear. That is kind of what we're going for. We're hoping to, like, we want SS2 to feel like a natural part of the game. We want the storyline, and, like, by the time we're done with Chapter 3, our goal is that there's enough interconnection with the main quest in the vanilla game that you'll feel like that it's part of the experience. And so that you can get some freshness in that as well, which is what I'm hoping we can pull off. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about the Bethesda experience and the online game thing all night, because it's something like, and they kind of do it to themselves too, because the writers of these stories for the MMOs and stuff, they just keep writing, like, single player epics and smashing them into those games. I don't understand why. Like, it's maybe that's. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's not possible to write a good story that works in an MMO formula. Or maybe some other game has figured it out, but I can't think of one that I've played where I felt like, oh, this story makes me feel like the hero, and it doesn't feel awkward that everyone around me is also playing the same story.
I think the best way, just as a personal opinion, the best way is that the story isn't about you. It's just a story you take part in. It's really what I want from the next, test game, is that you aren't, one of my favorite things, I guess, is this idea in Skyrim. If you play the Inigo mod, like, Inigo is also, a superpowered hero, and you follow along. If you play through his whole little quest line so far that's established, like, you're helping him do the thing, and eventually he's going to fight some bad guy that you're going to help him beat. Same thing like with Oblivion, like, you're helping some other dude do the big thing, even though you're going to become superpower god regardless, because it's a video game with perk points. Like, eventually you're going to play long enough to where you max everything out and you can kill everybody with one hit. But I would prefer a storyline where something is going on in the world and you help it out. Like, you're the one that sort of gets involved and helps us. Like with Daggerfall, which was my first introduction to Bethesda games and this sort of style of game, you get this quest to go talk to the queen in Daggerfall, and it's like you've got like 2 weeks in game. And if you don't make it, the quest goes away and you're done. But the game, you can do everything. It's 60,000 kilometers of space.
Cow.
Every town has people that gives you quests. They all have guilds, and all those give you quests. So in Daggerfall, you can do the whole main quest, or you can just live in Daggerfall.
Right.
And become, join this Knights Guild and do this whole thing. So that whole thing is what I've sort of been chasing. And I love the story. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, they are, my favorite games. But what I'm hoping for is next time it's not about me. It's just about something that's taking place in the world that I'm living in. I'm still going to become Superpower God, but I'm going to become Superpower God to help this other person accomplish this special thing that they need to do.
I don't know. I need my recognition. I need to be the Messiah at the end of it, because I don't get to be in real life. I just get to be. The best I can hope for is Super Dad. Which is
in Oblivion, you didn't like that whole thing in Oblivion where
I never finished Oblivion.
Oh well,
Oblivion came out. Yeah,
spoilers. Someone else is the god.
Okay. I figured my plan was always to play Oblivion when Skyblivion got finished, but now it starts to feel like it's a miracle when these big conversion projects or World Space mods ever get released. So like I've started donating huge money to the teams that do, like to Fallout California and Frontier. I gave them like a huge chunk of change just to say like, congrats guys, like here's a little prize. I can't pay you for your time, but here's a little
extra release.
Yeah, like that's amazing that you did it, because these projects rarely, because I was involved in those most of my teen and 20s. I got involved in those big mega projects for games, and none of them ever got released, and it was so infuriating. And I can still see it still happens today. But yeah, the Oblivion came out when I was deep in a World of Warcraft addiction. So I played Oblivion, and it was really cool, but not as cool as raiding with my friends. So I had to get back into Warcraft, and then I just forgot about Oblivion. And then I tried to play it a couple years ago, and
it's rough.
It's rough.
Once Skyrim.
Once you play with the bow in Skyrim, trying to go back to the old way Bethesda did is like, nope. Just
or double two swords, man, two-handed wielding. You go back to Oblivion, it's like, I want two katanas. It's like, nah, bro, you gotta just have that shield and that sword, and it's gonna automatically block for you.
Let's see, Mijanus. A lot of people are just tagging us with stuff. I don't think we need to answer my
let's
questions.
Jump up. Hold on, Paul H. Hello, SimSet team. A very noob question. Should I download Sim Settlements, or should I go straight to Sim Settlements 2?
Go to 2
to not miss anything. They are different mods. To encounter the story that we've been talking about this whole time, you'd have to go directly to Sim Settlements 2.
I think a lot of people are answering that. Canucks got them covered. One is just a systems mod. There's no quest. There's no storyline. So SS2 is kind of like my SS2 represents like what I actually envisioned SS1 to be. But some people just still want to play SS1 for various reasons. It's not going to have as many bugs because it's kind of got to a final form. Whereas SS2, you're going to still run into issues that we're still working on, because it's kind of, mods are kind of always in an early access state because, no one's getting paid for these. And so like we don't have proper QA. We just kind of keep iterating on them over time. So SS1 is probably a little more stable, but it's also slower because the code was not as efficient. So it might not have bugs or as many bugs, but it might go so slow that it feels buggy. SS2's got all the story stuff in it. The one reason I would say for people to go play SS1 still would be if you really like Conqueror. So if you really like that gameplay, I know it's not really offered in any other mods, and it's going to be a while before it's available in SS2. That would be the reason to go install SS1. And Conqueror has a really cool storyline, but it's an unfinished storyline. So you're going to get to a point when you're going to be like, okay, waiting for the next quest, and it's never going to come. And you're going to be like, that feels like an odd ending. And I've gone over the story a million times. Feel free to watch the other streams if you want to hear about the tales of woe with the Conqueror development. But it's still a very good questline as is. It's still very entertaining, and there's the gameplay is a lot of fun in Conqueror. So that would be my recommendation. If you've heard good things about Conqueror, you want to try it out, go play SS1 first, and then start a new character for SS2, because you cannot install SS2. It's not like it's SS1 and then SS2 is a sequel in the sense of like you play the story and then you get the second story. It was in the sense of I just wipe the slate clean and start over. Let's see. Mijanu Stags. I finished the vanilla game about halfway through How to HQ. I feel like there was missed opportunity for dialogue that recognized either the destruction or saving of the Institute. So I think that we're going to be touching on that more in Chapter 3. We've had that discussion
on right now.
Yeah, we've had that discussion on the team already about how to deal with the faction destructions. And so our original plan for SS2 storyline, it was going to be 4 chapters. And one of the chapters was going to be devoted entirely to the different factions and like how you get in the game. And now we're doing it a little more we're now treating, because of the voice actor problem. So we always have this problem with voice actors, that we can't bring on the vanilla voice actors, and there's very limited pools for some of them, that we create these awkward writing situations. So we're kind of treating the main quest line in Fallout 4 as our side quest. So there'll be a lot more integration in Chapter 3 to recognize some of the stuff that you did, but inevitably there's going to be missed opportunities. I mean, like we don't have a unlimited budget. We don't have, I mean, I guess technically we have unlimited time in the sense that there's no pressure from outside other than our own interest. Like that is half of the battle when you're doing any creative project for free, is keeping yourself and people around you motivated. And like, that's why we do annual releases come hell or high water. So like, that's why we will release a mod, even if we know like, there's some quirks over in this quest or whatever, or this isn't quite finished up, you know, like HQ wasn't fully finished. There's most of the departments don't do anything yet, but like we got to keep ourselves inspired or we won't finish, and then you guys will get nothing. So I think, yeah, there's probably tons of missed opportunities. I think even we talked about this earlier, there's missed opportunities between our own quest lines where we could have done some connection.
Yeah.
So we absolutely have missed opportunities in the main quest stuff. We hope to rectify some of that. I don't know if we'll do it satisfactorily, and it's also one of those things that's I've listed as a first tier stretch goal. So it's kind of like, if we can't do that because of time, like if our goal is we want to get Chapter 3 done before Starfield comes out with a good clip, like make sure we got a full month in there for people to play it, then you know that's on the chopping block as potential cuttable content. So we'll also make those decisions as we go in dev of like what's absolutely necessary for us to teach the mechanics that we're offering and to complete our own stories, as that's going to be the primary goals. Let's see. I apologize, guys. I got another cough drop in my mouth. I ran out of water, so now I'm just sucking on cough drops to keep myself from dying on you. Thank you for carrying the conversation, Sag. You've been talking more than me, and that's very much appreciated.
That's all right. Like I said, I can ramble too. So
ramble to the best of them. Matteo, are the secret stuff from SS1 in SS2? I heard something about hidden quests and certain plots. There is one quest made it forward in the distillery. There's a quest. If you go drink a bunch of times in the tub, you'll get a quest line. And then the other quests are going to probably come in Chapter 3. I'll probably port them forward, although they'll probably get changed a bit. But we have an opportunity for those to make an appearance again. So those hidden quests, one of them is in there. The rest of them did not make it forward, but they were pretty simplistic. Like the most advanced one, the most advanced two, one of them was there were 3 of them that were kind of advanced. So there was one that was the distillery. That one did get ported. Then there was one in the computer lab, which we patched in one of the very last SS1 patches. That one's a lot of fun. That one I really want to bring back. And then the third one was the quest line that was kind of a hidden quest to get access to Helios 1 from New Vegas and get the Euclid Sea Finder. Like that was one of those things I would love to bring back. But because of the storyline that we're writing, it would not make any sense for us to have that in there without the characters acknowledging it. So instead it's going to have to be like this super late game content that we don't have our characters talk about, and it's going to be kind of hidden away because we don't want to create that awkward situation where we're forced to write about this absurd thing. Like that kind of drove the decision about what of those things to include. With Industrial Revolution, there was no story, so I just went nuts with it. I'm just like, yeah, let's give the player the ability to control the weather. Who cares? But like the impact, like if Jake knew weather control was an option for them to do, like, oh, we could cause a rad tornado and wipe out the gunner. You know what I mean? Like that opens up these plot holes that we didn't want to have to deal with. Let's see here. I think yeah, Jim Simon Sag is the real MVP. I agree. Keeping the conversation going and keeping these quests awesome. I'm really excited to see what you do in Chapter 3. Like you said you're excited about adding all those little touches. I love that stuff, and I think that Sarik has way more of them in mind than I ever give him the okay to do. And so the fact that you love to do them will result in stronger content. And that's now that you're past the learning phase too. Like you rarely, like at the beginning, the first half, you know, we would have multi-hour sit downs to go over stuff. And like in the last few quests you worked on, like you hardly needed to do anything, and it was usually like, I just got this one bug, like this guy's doing this weird thing, can you figure it out? And it was more like a second pair of eyes than to me to teach you anything. So I think
a lot of it was breaking down stuff that we already had in, you know, like things that you had. Once I got into doing the main quest, especially, I was trying to stick with things you had already done in chapter 1 and sort of recreate them in chapter 2 and do it as close as possible. So I had something to compare it to, and I mean, if the script compiles and the properties fill and the game, you know, and the quest goes, then I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple little bits in here, and also just really, you know, it was sort of the thing, like getting main quest 16 all in together. There wasn't a lot of stuff I needed to ask you when I was putting it all together.
Right.
But it definitely needed you to come in behind me and polish it up. So that's the thing that
right, but that felt more like second pair of eyes stuff. Like that felt like
right,
it was
exactly.
I was coming in looking at the work of somebody who knew the same stuff as I did, as opposed to like when you were first starting out, it was you just didn't know any of it. So it was like we were having as many training sessions as we were repair sessions on the quest. So it'll be really cool to see what you do with knowing everything you do going forward. We've got a couple more things here. Mod Hunter 42. Will we get the Brewmaster quest again? So Brewmaster, we actually enhanced. Now there's actually a character you get if you. I don't remember the requirements to get it. It should be on the wiki. But there's a character named Monty Phylon, and so now instead of finding all of the recipes everywhere, he just hands them to you. You brew them, and then he has some more quips about them. Maybe that's less exciting than finding the recipes out and about, but there is a certain screaming man that still is in the mod. I ported that forward because it's one of my favorite moments from Morrowind, and that's our homage to it. So that is still in the mod. Let's see here. Death Mancer. Will SS2 have its own ending for the vanilla game factions? No. One of the problems that one of the reasons we don't really do that is because, like, who's the bad guy? So, like, what we'd be forced to do is we would either have to have a SS2 version where you got to choose again, and then we're just rebuilding the vanilla quest, right? Like, right. Or we have to make the determination that the Institute is the one you have to kill, or that the Brotherhood is the one you have to kill. We didn't want to make that decision. We want the player to make that decision, and Bethesda already offers that option. So a lot of people say, like, oh, you should have a way to defeat the Institute. Well, some people don't think the Institute are the bad guy. Like, it's not clear. Like, they're doing some bad stuff, but so do the Brotherhood. So it's not clear that they're the bad guy, so we don't want to make that decision. We want the player to. So instead, we came up with our own boogeyman, and we used the vanilla faction so it feels at home with the Gunners as an underutilized faction. They're effectively shown to you as raiders, so, you know, kind of whatever we wanted to do with them, they made for a nice villain. Let us expand on them. And thanks to Nuka World, they actually have a lot of, like, background history, and I think Bethesda's trying to set them up as a, not necessarily enclave level thing, but like a group that they can keep bringing forward in their future games. So we got to play with that, and we got to do some cool stuff in Chapter 3. So no or not, but we are going to try and react to your choices in the vanilla game as much as is feasible, given the fact that we don't have access to any of the vanilla voice actors. So, like, a lot of it has to be non-story. It's kind of like the, you know, our characters will give you a little exposition, or you'll get some benefit, or like we did with the battle for GNN, they'll send some soldiers, little touches like that. But we're gonna try and ramp it way up in Chapter 3 as compared to Chapter 2. That's
right. Your choice in the vanilla game affects our mod, not the other way around. You know?
Right. Yeah, because we can't do much in the vanilla game without butchering it.
One of our you know, rules is to try not to change something that another mod, you know, might break another mod, or, you know, so we sort of do everything on our own. And if we were to alter the vanilla quest line, then we would be altering the vanilla game. We'd be altering so many things that anything that touched that would break it. We try to keep ourselves as best as possible non-conflicting with other people's stuff.
Yeah, our rule, like summarized, is no editing, only adding. So we can add whatever we want to the game. We cannot edit or delete anything. With the exception of things we can do pull off at runtime with scripts, and like that limited us. Like, okay, well then quests are just off the table because you can't really do much with them. Now we found a couple of workarounds with that, like with the solution that Sarit came up with for the fact that a lot of people don't want anything to do with Preston, but we still wanted you to clear Concord of raiders, including the museum.
Right.
Like I think like that was a cool way to do it, to be able to just run out the front door, and we were able to do that with just some set stage commands, but that's not common that you can pull that off. Usually the quests that Bethesda has set up are, you start poking at them like that and running stages, you're going to cause a cascade of issues. Thiago, will SS2 have buildings where worked by settlers, they will make bullets, meds, foods for your player? So the pattern we went with SS2 is that instead of building stuff directly for the player, they build stuff for the commercial plots, and then you can buy it from them. And so the full circle is you build up all the different plot types, you build up to industrial, to the high tech, you get to the production level, you build up municipal, and you unlock the tax level, then you tax your residents, take the income they pay you, and spend it in the shops to buy the stuff you need. That's the full level. It's probably too involved for a lot of people. That's kind of like designed for the hardcore player, like type of person. If you love Factorio, you might enjoy going all deep on that tech tree. Otherwise, the real reward in SS2 comes in HQ, because there's a couple of systems in there where you can gain a lot of value from them. The biggest one right now is there's a series of rooms you can build called labs, and if you upgrade them all the way, you can craft effectively. You can do any crafting at the chemistry station, modifying at the armor and weapons workbenches or power workbenches for free, and you get access to all the perk locked things too, because the upgrades at HQ allow HQ to learn the knowledge of those perks. So it's kind of like you train your HQ staff to learn gun nut rank 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get to reap the benefits of it. So that's kind of your... Oh, Loveface is back. Hooray.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll just hide user. There we go. There we go. Gone. Yeah, Jim. If you're not interested, it's not for everybody. Not everybody's interested in the full deep gameplay. Like a lot of people come to SS, especially after Rise of the Commonwealth, and are just like, I want a button that builds me a settlement, and like that's fine. They're not going to offer all those kind of goods, and then like you didn't put the effort in, so you don't get the reward either. That's kind of. But I mean, it's kind of a reward in itself, right? The visual aspect of it is a reward of walking around and seeing all these settlers do stuff, and you didn't have to participate. It's pretty cool. That was actually one of my holdouts with SS1. People often ask me to put in an easy access cheat system to upgrade the plots, so that they could see them all. So it was like, can you just make it so I can click on the ASAM and upgrade the building for free, like as an option? I was like, well, no, because the only reward in the mod in SS1 was upgrading. It was like you'd see the next building, and so you got to put in the effort to get there, and that's your reward. And if you don't want that, then why are you playing? Just go look at screenshots. And so that's kind of the approach we take. Some of it, not all of it. I usually end up eventually relenting on everything. So like I started passing out the console command unlock plots eventually, and eventually I get tired of holding the line on that kind of stuff, and I just put in options to let people bypass it. And because it's kind of like, if you wanna bypass the experience for yourself, it's on you, buddy, and go for it. So inevitably we add in enough settings that people can kind of get whatever experience they want. One of the things I've always hoped to do in SS2, and I have no idea if I'll ever happen, it's one of those quality of life things that would be really cool for us hardcore players, but super useless to most others, maybe not, was an ability to export all of your SS2 settings. So imagine you export all of your settings in the holotape, all of your band and theme lists that you have set up, and you export them and create a plugin, and then you can share that around. So it'd be like, I came up with like this version of playing SS2 where it feels exactly like SS1, or I created the most hardcore experience you can imagine, and then being able to share those as mods, I think that could be really cool, but it would be a lot of work. Let's see here. Dex Wilson, speaking of the labs in HQ, how do we unlock the science department? Finish How to HQ, and then finish the next quest that will come after that, which is called Is There a Doctor in the House? And then you get the science department. Noctium, appreciate the economic depth and some settlements. Have you guys ever thought about opening RimWorld and adding psychological depth? One of the things that got put on the chopping block, which made me sad, but it has to be, is we wanted to add, diplomacy and religion to SS, and like we've done it briefly in the fact that like there's Edmund who talks about religion, but we were going to add those as systems, and that's not going to happen now because we gotta eventually stop. We could feature creep ourselves into oblivion, so we're unfortunately not going to do those. Maybe in a couple years I'll miss some settlements after we're done with it, and I'll want to come back, but I doubt it. It'd be one of those things like And if I built a new game or started a new mod, like that might end up on the initial, because that's one of the things we spend a lot of time with on SS development isn't necessarily any of the work on the mod. It's just thinking about it. It's like laying out all the spreadsheets and coming up with the plans and like what does that manifest itself as gameplay. Well, now we've got a nice framework for that. Like for example, the whole the tech tree in SS2 of like how the different plot types relate to an upgrades. Like we could take that structure and reuse it in some other form. And so like I think each new project I can be a little more ambitious because I can reuse old thinking. Like even that has a lot of time value to it. Let's see. Jim Simon, to be clear, I was kidding. I love the depth of the game. Awesome. Let's see. Sean, hi. Are there... Sean! I can't read the name Sean anymore without immediately thinking of all the crazy lines with Sean. We did a joke about that in one of the quests in SS1. There's a character in it was like the hydration research facility, and the character it was one of the first quests I added to the mod. I think the very first quest I added to SS1 to Industrial Revolution, and this character will interview you, and you can keep saying Sean to her, I think, as your answers, and then eventually she just goes Sean and like shouts it at you, and so like that's not what I think of whenever I see the name Sean. Sorry, Sean. Hi, is there a way to disable the Concord buildup? My PC is struggling bad. No, there isn't currently, but I can add that to the list of quality of life things for sure. I think because we've talked about it, we've joked about it becoming going from the triangle of death to the square of death now that we've added Concord. If you also built up Abernathy, Red Rocket, and Sanctuary, I don't know how much load Concord adds to it, but you know, anything you can reduce obviously would help. Currently, no. That would be something really easy for somebody to make a patch to do, as far as just like deleting our enable parents, and that would probably be fine. I don't know if it probably shouldn't break things, because those are the type of things where I always, just out of fear, I just check in optional on the aliases now, just so that you can't break it.
Optional, allow disabled.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And if it's an actor, allow dead.
Let me see. Yeah, allowed dead for sure. Especially with the vanilla NPCs. Stefanita Vilsu, do you have any advice when I receive no eligible building plans were found for the plot? The 2x2 works plus any advice to overcome this? If you go into the Stefanita, if you go into the holotape, actually I can just show you. We have a system for this, and you guys are probably going to see the stuff that's coming in the next patch here, because I added a couple more of these tools. Usually this is stuff I do for quality of life, but it related to a bug, so I just threw it in here while I was working on the bug. If you go to, where is it? Advanced Tools, reset building plan caches, run that, wait 10 minutes, and then you should find that the building plans are available again. And in the next patch, you're going to see I added it for leader card and settlement flags as well. So if you find that some mod added ones you expected to be there are missing, this might fix that bug for you. Let's see here. Jake, and as someone that likes starting new games a lot, the ability to export SS2 settings would be great. Yeah, I think like my number one fan of that, I think, will end up being one of our beta testers, Raybo, because he starts so many new saves and always has a set of features. I think there are a lot of people who would like that, and I would love to add it. But I think when I started writing it on paper, I'm like, really, this should be something similar to my workshop framework stuff, where it's like it's a system that other people can use. And then when I started looking into that, I was like, well, MCM kind of offers this already. But my problem with things like MCM and transfer settlements is they demand F4SE, and I know it's possible to do this stuff in a way that Xbox players can use it, because it would be, you just need to create a tool to generate the ESP file. So I think like I got hung up on it, and that's why this hasn't happened yet, is because I'm like, I need to put in the extra effort and make sure this can work on Xbox too. I could probably do it for PC right now with MCM's config system, but just haven't done it. So if somebody else is feeling froggy and they want to do it, I could kind of point them in the right direction. Let's see. Chris Hobie, will SS2 do quests on the island Far Harbor? We will not. Far Harbor and Nuka World are 100% off limits. So we've learned from some of the other big mod teams out there who have done, who are doing the world mods, like doing Cascadia or Miami, and things like that, where they are including all of the different DLC. And when you have all the different DLC with the worlds loaded in at once, I think it breaks past some sort of creation kit limitations. It creates a bunch of problems. There's problems with merging. There's problems with max records you can have open at once. There's all these problems that come up in development, and it's already hard enough for us to develop. So we have 3 parents on our thing, and we had to use a hacked CK to do that. already to get the 3 parents, and when we added automatron as a requirement, it made our merges take like twice as long. So I imagine that will happen again with each one. So there's just so many problems with adding the DLC. We're just noping to that. There's enough stuff to do in Commonwealth. We don't need the space. I mean, it would be cool to have the assets, but I don't feel like we're missing much. The Far Harbor is too perfect already. Don't mess with Far Harbor. Nuka World is the one where I actually want to play. I want to play around with. There's a lot of potential there, unused potential there.
Yeah, especially on the Raider side, if you play a Raider storyline.
I mean, you could also say on the Minuteman side of like going and wiping out the Raiders, you just get that little sad battle. It's like, oh, come on, could have done more than that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of missed potential in Nuka World, and it's just a cool world space. Like it's really big and open. Let's see. Lee Eliestrella, while playing the story, Jake and Lupe felt like Eugene and Rosita. Is there any inspiration behind that? You would have to ask Mr. Sir Rick about that. I don't know who Eugene and Rosita are. Do you know what they're talking about?
I do not.
Yeah, okay. Thiago, could the final faction the player choose affect the mod, like helping the railroad add synth refugees or settlers institute, giving you more tech? We will definitely have some stuff like that coming, where like your choice of factions, we have direct systems that are going to offer you gameplay options and benefits and stuff. Absolutely, that's something coming in Chapter 3.
Oh, that's a Walking Dead reference.
Okay, yeah, I never got into Walking Dead. Oh, Dell is the hydration researcher in SS2. No, it got put on the block of all of the research quests. They didn't work. I couldn't port them directly. Like the distillery, I was able to port directly because it had nothing to do with the plots. But all of the research quests, there was like 4 of them. They were all too tied to the SS1 code, so I couldn't port them. And like I want to do it eventually because they were fun. But I have to rebuild them from scratch, so it's just not been high on my priority list. Let's see. Chris Hobie, will SS2 add a storyline? If we already covered that. I wonder if that was a repeat or if I just scrolled back up again.
I think you scrolled back up.
Oops. All right. I am sorry for anyone who decided to push the limits of the game with my settlement plans, as mine can be beefy. Those are the Carvox settlement plans. Yeah, they can be they can wreck you. We try to do what we can for performance stuff. If you're having trouble with SS1 or SS2, especially with city plans, if you go into both holotapes have similar sections, you can turn off a lot of our performance settings to try and reduce the number of items. So if you're having trouble, turn all this stuff off before you build anything, except for spec build limit. You want that on, and then I would also turn off automatic upgrades. You can do that in both SS1 and SS2 under tool. Let's see, not tools, options, gameplay, and then upgrade. And let's see, and then you turn off these auto upgrade options, and that will give you full control, so you can choose when things build, and that's probably the best way to play if you're struggling. Let's see, Quester WI. This old man needs to get some sleep soon. Sleeping pill kicking in. I'm feeling ya. I'm feeling like I'm running out of steam here. Saga, I know it's late for you. It's been great having you. I appreciate your insight. Also appreciate you carrying the torch when my voice gave out on me a couple moments in there.
I like to talk, so
I am very much looking forward to working with you on Chapter 3. If you're up for it, I'll have you on again someday. But
yeah, whenever.
Awesome.
Let's get some other team members to share their experience.
For sure. You know? Yeah, I got a couple other people queued up. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will catch you next Wednesday, and we'll do the same thing again. I think this worked out a lot better. Me playing by myself and then bringing on a guest for chat time, because otherwise I get too distracted. So apologies, Sir Rick, that you had to be the guinea pig on figuring that out, but we'll bring you on again too one day. All right, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you next week. All right, now did I actually